This episode of the OnlyKings podcast is brought to you by OrganicPricedBooks.com. Guys, there hasn't been a better time to start comic collecting, let alone get into the omnibus game. They have a wide and growing selection of books shipping now, as well as highly anticipated pre-orders, such as The Amazing Spider-Man Volume 5 Omnibus, priced at $125, discounted to $80. Enter my promo code KING at checkout for an extra discount. Again, enter promo code KING for an extra discount on top of the 36 to 40% they are already offering. OrganicPricedBooks.com, promo code KING. Now back to the show.
Hey, buddy.
Good to see you. Cheers. Good to have you on, man.
Oh, it's fantastic. So after how goddamn long?
Yeah, like 5 times of me fucking up the scheduling. So before we get anything weird, there are 2 movies I want to talk to you about, one way more than the other. I'll start with that one first. Kong vs. Godzilla. Because you're a huge Godzilla fan. So what did you think of it?
So one thing has me like really upset, and that is they fucked up a huge opportunity to really show like an introduction into Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
Because in the old one, when they first bring up Mechagodzilla, he's just like...
Try to aim the mic at your face. Yeah, there you go.
This is good enough.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's fine.
So Mechagodzilla is encased in like flesh, so he is a direct
You're talking
copy.
about the old school, like Toho, Japan.
Oh, yeah.
Right, yeah.
The good movies.
Yeah.
High budget.
Yeah.
Well, then he's just fucking shit up for like no goddamn reason. And then the flesh falls off, and it's like, oh my God, it's Mechagodzilla, because they're dubbing over everybody that has lines in those movies. Yeah. And it looks fucking hilarious. But that was the only thing. They missed a huge opportunity to actually kind of like dive more into the lore.
For sure.
But, oh my God. Big monster fight.
That's all I wanted was big monsters fighting.
It was so good. I loved it. It was absolutely fantastic just to see a giant monkey fight a nuclear lizard, and then a robot came in. Like a homeless man's fever dream. and the world pays to see it.
So, I thought it was good too. I mean, I just remember watching it, and there was, I forget what part I thought about this, but I was waiting for Skarsgård just to stare at the camera and be like, we're moving as fast as we can. We know what you're here for. We're moving as fast as humanly possible. Yeah, you might have to unplug that and plug that in a couple times. They're pieces of shit. Oh, shit. And that was my timer. Anyway, so yeah, I thought it was great. I mean, I think they've learned their lesson as far as pacing. This is definitely the best paced one. Mm-hmm. With the exception, like, I can't decide if I like this one better or the very first Godzilla with, like, Aaron Taylor Johnson and Bryan Cranston and Elizabeth Olsen. Because, like, I like that movie because it was a slow build-up to Godzilla. And maybe it was just the timing of the movie, too, because that was really the first... That was the first American Godzilla we had since the Matthew Broderick, like, Zilla movie, right? Mm-hmm. So that was cool. I don't know how well it's aged, 'cause I haven't seen that in maybe 4 or 5 years.
The Matthew Broderick one?
No, the Bryan Cranston one.
Oh, so I just watched that one right after Godzilla vs. Kong.
Okay.
And...
They're 2 completely different movies.
Yeah, so... It's a lot of weird shots of just... like, just these huge panoramic views, and then cut to people talking. And they go on about whatever for X amount of time, and then fuck it, whatever.
Yeah.
So it's just like this huge shit, and then they're like, oh, there's a pissed off lizard, and then we have a giant parasite, and they kind of don't like each other, but the lizard's more powerful.
Yeah, it was. I think it was a really good introduction to this new Godzilla universe that they were doing. I think it's the best shot of all the movies, but, like, again, I think with this one, they finally, like, got it through their heads that we don't care about the humans at, like, complete disrespect to fucking Skarsgård and Billy, what's her name? The girl. She was in Stranger Things.
Oh, yeah, I can't.
The girl from Stranger Things. and then the guy who played the
sergeant in Generation Kill.
No, that's Skarsgård.
Oh.
And then the black dude that was the podcaster, that was the conspiracy dude. 'Cause those are all three very good actors. And they just completely wasted them just to like hurry to which is cool.
Fuck them.
Which is cool. Like I like that. But like okay, when we were talking about this like a couple of days ago, but you have to suspend your disbelief of these movies, right? You have to like accept it, accept the writing's gonna be bad, accept the characters don't matter. But like they downloaded an energy. Oh yeah, full spoilers for Godzilla vs. Kong. But like there's a scene where the not evil girl becomes evil.
Yeah.
And she turns on the heroes for her dad's company. I'm trying to remember this right. Turns on the heroes of her dad's company when they make it into like the Hollow Earth and they make it to Kong's original home. And she stabs this like oversized Sharpie into the ground.
It was the big robot that did it.
Yeah. Or did the robot do it?
The robot did it. So,
Yeah.
So anyways.
That. And so they extract a piece of energy out of the ground and then they upload the energy through some intensely good Wi-Fi to her dad's computer. And then the dad downloads the energy and then uses the energy to power Mechagodzilla. That is some of the most stupid shit I have ever seen in a movie. It's so stupid.
I rewatched it before I came here.
It's so fucking stupid.
And like I was sitting there and I was like, you know what? There's some film critics in the world that are like, their livelihood is finding plot holes. And these movies are just like, we have nothing to go here, so fuck it. And then they just throw all of this shit.
They give them the solution, like the magical Blade Runner ships that they're in that like happen to be able to penetrate with the right energy, and they can like defibrillate King Kong.
Yeah, it's like one step away from being the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. And just them turning to the fucking breaking the fourth wall and just be like, where do we go now? Like, it's one step away from being that stupid. And I love it. I will spend my money every time just to be like, oh, what do we use now? Jeez, Donald.
I'm waiting for the choose your own adventure where you just point the remote at the Godzilla movie.
Okay, I would spend so much money on that. If it was a choose your own adventure Godzilla movie, holy shit. I would go broke.
At least you would have to have the option to skip past the humans. That has to be an option every time. Yeah. And like, it sucks because I was thinking about it, I was like, well, you kind of have to have before I watched this movie. I was like, okay, there's going to be shitty humans and we have to deal with it. You have to have that. But the opening scene is pretty much Shrek, but King Kong. It is like it opens up. It opens up, and he's like taking a shower. He like wakes up, scratches his ass, takes a shower in the waterfall, fucking blows out his nose, and he's just walking about swinging. And then it's he hits a tree out of the ground, scrapes it one time, and it magically becomes a spear. And he just launches the spear into the sky. I thought he was gonna like knock down like a dinosaur or some shit, and it was gonna
like that's how he got his breakfast.
Yeah, that's how he got his breakfast. But then it hits the containment wall, and I was like, oh shit, are there good writers? Oh my god. Well, obviously there's not, but like that was a great opening, and it was focused on King Kong. And I get you can't maintain that for an hour and a half movie, but if we just saw more of that. Right, and I loved the Hollow Earth storyline. I didn't need them bringing Kong over. Like, I get you need to bring Kong over somehow, but like I love the Hollow Earth stuff. I love the visuals. I mean, because the guy who did the special effects in this did the Justice League that just came out.
Oh, okay.
He worked with Snyder on that, BVS, and his new Army of the Dead for Netflix. So he's a super talented guy, and it was a gorgeous movie.
So I don't know if you've seen the original Godzilla vs. King Kong.
That
came out in 1962.
Long time ago.
I rewatched it.
It's literally just like, so before this, I watched Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla. I watched that, and it's just, it was basically two Japanese guys with dolls banging them together, hoping for the best.
And like what cracked me up about the first Godzilla versus Kong is one, I forgot how funny like Japanese dubbed movies were because like the audio is just all over the place.
It's garbage.
It's hilarious. And so they trick King Kong into drinking this magic fairy potion that knocks him out. And they bring him over to Japan on a boat.
Can you find this, please?
You can find the whole movie on YouTube.
Godzilla drinking, or King Kong.
King Kong.
Is there a TV remote over there? Sorry to cut you off. Is there a TV remote over there? Thank you. Okay.
And what's super bad about it is I forgot green screen effects.
Like really weren't a thing. They were a thing, but they
was like
weren't.
A weird blue screen, whatever. So I'm looking at this and just watching them try to do.
Just like so, look for that on YouTube. Just like bringing King Kong over. Like look for that part. Because I want to see them feed King Kong a potion.
But so they give him the potion and bring him on this fucking ferry all the way back, and this like skinny, like he's stereotypical as hell.
Yeah,
in the way that he looks.
The average post-nuke Japanese guy. Okay, yeah. Continue.
Well, not even post-nuke. Like this is like something you'd see in an old Disney cartoon, like describing Kato or some shit. Yeah, God. It's really stereotypical. Yeah, and because he's got a big mustache. His front teeth are a little too oversized. Yeah, it's very stereotypical. Yeah, right. But he's all excited because he owns King Kong now. He's like, that's my property. And like the first 20 minutes of that movie is just a really shitty fucking newsreel. Yeah. Well, what had me losing my fucking shit was when they fight. Because
I saw a quick clip of like King Kong. He grabs a tree and like shoves it down the Godzilla's like in the puppet. The puppet's throat. The puppet's like.
It's two guys just dressed up in costumes beating the shit out of each other. Mm-hmm. And they just made Tiny Japan and they're like, hey, we're going to give you some meth and have fun. And they just broke shit. And then to see that, and then you're like, oh, this is a movie that people are legitimately trying to dive into a whole universe. Right. With Mac here, it was, or like.
This is the boat one. This is like their fight one.
It's so bad.
Scroll up, like, so we can actually see what's going on. They just fell into water. God bless them. Anyway.
But, just the balance between, like, oh, here's this just crappy movie that people were just going to have fun. And now, the WB, I think they made an announcement that they're actually trying to like dive into these full.
Are they though? Because I didn't get that indication from this movie. For anything this movie was, it was surprisingly self-contained.
And that's what kind of threw me off because the director said he didn't want to do any end credit scenes for this movie. Right. And when they asked him why, he was like, because I don't want to tape myself to having to be. Or for the expectations for the next movie. Because there's going to be a next movie. But there's a whole universe that nobody's really fucked around with. And I have the ability to, like, do whatever I want. And so now that you have Godzilla taking over Earth, oh, no.
You're dragging him with the boat.
Yeah.
It's so continue. So the end of the movie is Godzilla and King Kong fight. And Godzilla decidedly wins. Like, no shit.
Oh, yeah.
Beats him to the fucking ground, like scratches the fuck out of his chest, like yells at him a little bit, you know. And Godzilla wins. And I remember, because I watched this with my chick. And right when he beat him, I was like, okay, well, Mechagodzilla's going to show up. So what's the timer on Godzilla doing a 180 and running back to King Kong like, hey, wake up, wake up. And that meme you sent where the Mechagodzilla shows up and King Kong's all freaking out and goes like, that's a huge bitch. Like, I was waiting for that moment to happen. But like Mechagodzilla shows up and smacks Godzilla into the ground. Like throwing him through buildings. Beats the fuck out of him. So they redefibrillate King Kong through a method that doesn't really matter. But at the end of the movie, they kind of like, they have like a last little Mexican standoff after they beat. That's what I got from it.
Yeah, when all the humans get together, they're like, oh, it's over. And then you have Kong standing up with the axe.
And
Godzilla
just,
looking
like,
at him,
stares
across.
at him. Like, he's like, "Do it."
What, bitch?
Yeah, he's like, "Yeah, do it." And then he drops the axe, and Godzilla just floats into the sea, and then we're done. Well, they take King Kong back to Hollow Earth, but like, they don't leave a thread through the next movie. So it's like, well, where do you go from there?
Well, and that's the cool part is because now they can fuck around with Mothra. Now they can introduce more Titans that have been.
Is Mothra alive?
They've Evan brought it up that they found another Mothra egg. I thought it was horseshit, but I looked it up and there was an end credit scene where they in King of the Monsters where they found another Mothra egg.
See, and I never saw the entirety of King of the Monsters. I watched the last 20 minutes and then watched Godzilla vs. Kong.
I have watched those movies in their entirety.
Dude, and I bought King of the Monsters on fork. Like, I own it. And I haven't seen it. So then, before we're about to watch Kong vs. Godzilla, I was like, oh, I should probably watch this. So I just went on HBO Max and clicked one over and watched King of the Monsters, the last 20 minutes of that. So there's another Mothra egg alive. Who is the... Because my first exposure to all of this was the Godzilla Destroys All Monsters video game back on the Gamecube. Did you ever play that?
No.
Oh, we need to invest in a Gamecube. No, pull up gameplay for that real quick. It's called Godzilla Destroy All Monsters.
That's the stereotypical Japanese dude, though. Big ass glasses. Yes.
Okay. Oh. Okay. So can you rewind that really quick? I'll make that the thumbnail of this fucking video.
Yes.
No, for real. Like, go to it. Okay, so what we just saw is Godzilla being brought over onto the mountain. King Kong. He's being brought over to fight Godzilla. This is the old school movie, and he's being brought over. Pause it. Yeah. Okay, I'm writing the timestamp down. Hang on. And he's flying over on yellow balloons to fight, and he looks like he has smoked so much weed. Like, an ungodly amount of weed.
That joint was laced with PCP.
Can you do me a favor and go to the top right of the screen where the star is at and bookmark that? Yeah, a little for the left, right there. And then, yes, just done. Yep. And that's an hour, 19 minutes in. Okay, good.
Dude, it's so bad. I loved it.
I'm going to work that into the thumbnail. God bless my producer who makes my thumbnails, but we're going to work that into the thumbnail. That is absolutely bananas. Okay.
Are you just saying that because it's a giant monkey? Or?
Oh, my gosh. So they smoked so much weed, dog. Look at him.
Dude, a flailing monkey with balloons.
If I wasn't like dead certain we'd get copyrighted, I'd figure out a way to screen cap that and put it so we could show people what we're watching right now. This is fucking. He just shoved his nuts on Godzilla's leg and they just tumbled down this hill.
They're just throwing action figures down it.
Okay, anyway, so look up Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Gamecube. So like, this is a legitimately good game. So it's a 1 to 4 player game. It has a full campaign. It's Mortal Kombat but Godzilla.
Oh hell yeah!
And so you choose. Yes, perfect. And just let that run. Like skip to half. Oh, yeah, just leave it there. Yeah.
Oh,
this game.
I've seen this game. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had this on the GameCube way back in the day, right? And I think it's also a PlayStation 2 game. And you can like. You could choose between like 19 to 23 different monsters. You can like, and when you fight there's like, I think it's like 8 arenas, and then each arena has a day and a night mode. And then you can choose, you can fucking pick up buildings and throw them. Yeah, you could do like different attacks like that. You can pick up like helicopters out of the sky, tanks. It's fucking crazy.
Well, and I think that's what they're going to try with the rest, because I think they talked about trying to do a 10 movie series with Godzilla and Kong.
So is that including the 2014? It would have to, right?
I would hope so.
So we've got the 2014 with Bryan Cranston, but he's in it for like 20 minutes. And then after that, they did Kong Skull Island, Godzilla King of the Monsters. Now we have Godzilla versus Kong. So we've got 6 movies to go.
Yeah.
Damn.
And they're going to kind of like expand on their worlds with like the other Titans coming in and out of hibernation.
Cool.
And because like you saw the final post, or you watched the last 20 minutes of King of the Monsters, so you see how Godzilla's just standing there as the alpha, and there's a bunch of Titans around him.
Yeah.
So it opens up a world just for stupid shit like this, big monster fights.
This is all I want.
And, you know, every 3 years or whatever, we're going to get some dumb movie where they're just like, go on HBO Max and watch it.
Cool.
And then
that's all I want.
The general population is going to be like, that's all
what
I'm
I
going to
want.
do Saturday night.
Can you kind of like skip forward to find like if they go to the character selection screen, or if you can't find that, just bring up like a roster of the characters in the game.
Katara.
Well, because like so there's like Godzilla's like friend in the movies. He's almost like a turtle looking dude. He's all brown, and I can't think of his name to save my life. He's the guy that originally fights Mechagodzilla and Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, and he gets his ass smacked.
I know which one
and
you're
he
talking
gets
about.
his jaw broken. You know,
There was a scene in Godzilla versus King Kong where Kong was like trying to grab Godzilla's mouth
and he
and
kept
open it.
shooting the lasers out.
Yeah, and that fucking had me on edge.
Yeah.
I was absolutely wired.
Well, I kept seeing. I sorry to cut you off, but I want him in a movie. Gigan. That is my like most requested monster. Period. I want Gigan so fucking bad. I want Gigan, and I want Destroyer, and I want Space Godzilla because that's just stupid.
Space Godzilla.
That's just so stupid. But yeah, so I kept thinking when that was happening, I kept thinking back to what's up? Yeah, okay.
Godzilla 90s.
Yeah, so the monster under Godzilla right now, that dude. Remember his name?
It's not coming to me.
Okay, well, I feel like he's gonna show up at some point. But Destroy is the dude he's the second to the last on the right, and then Gigan. That'd be dope. But I kept thinking of like the Peter Jackson King Kong when like in that scene where he's fighting the dinosaurs and, he's
rips
cracking open the
T-Rex's jaw. Yeah. I was seeing that and I was like, there's no fucking way. So I really loved that. That had me fucking wired. It was fantastic. But I mean, all in all, people like Joey was like, oh, it's so dumb they did this. And I'm like, it's a monster movie.
It's supposed to,
It's supposed, like, the point isn't for they're not going to get an Academy Award.
No.
Nobody on that team gives a shit about a Golden Globe or anything like that.
Yeah, even like the main girl, like the evil Mexican girl, like on her Instagram, I didn't even know that it was her. Like she's a model. I just follow her on Instagram. But like she posted about like, oh, that was you? Whoops. And she tongue in cheek kind of says it's a piece of shit movie, but she's happy to be a part of it.
These are movies that literally they just live on forever.
Yeah.
Because you have dummies like me that still watch the old ones from like the 60s and 70s. And then they're still just interested. Why? Because it's just fun to watch.
It is.
It's a movie that you don't have to mentally like give a shit about. You just get to watch big monster.
But what the two main problems that I have with it, because for me it's like an 8 out of 10. It's just fun to watch. Like it's just fucking
Fantastic.
turn it off your brain, lay back, and you just. But like the two problems that I had is that, and this is the first one's the personal thing. I think it was like 3 minutes and 48 seconds in is their first big exposition dump, and that just pissed me off. And it was the girl, the main girl was like studying Kong. I think she was telling Skarsgård's character like there can only be one alpha or whatever.
Yeah,
I wanted to
like
just
that whole who bows to who thing and shit.
but like the very first like inkling of that like made me want to die. And then her character is like the dumbest scientist I have ever seen because so she's like for everything that Skarsgård's character is, she's the leader of the whole Kong expedition, right? First of all, she's been studying Kong for 10 years, yet she's surprised that Kong knows a inkling of sign language.
Well,
that was stupid.
And she mentioned that she's been trying to communicate with him for a while, but the only person, and it's kind of cool because Kong is always supposed to have a human connection.
Right, which is why I didn't mind the girl stuff.
They use
the little girl.
Yeah, they use the little girl Gia as the connector here. And so when I rewatched it, they actually said like, oh, he didn't want to communicate with you because he was afraid like what you would do with that information. Right. And then she goes, everybody knows now.
Well, right. Not only that, but like you're telling me in the 10 years, let's say that girl's 6 years old. Let's give the movie a little bit of a 4-year credit, right? So the girl grows up. You're telling me this entire time they like not you like the you people that made the movie. You're telling me that they never like got the girl and kind of just like pushed her into King Kong and just like watched? Like, what happens? And like they never saw the sign language beforehand. That made no sense to me.
I think, and if I had to actually give a shit aside from disbanding, just like, oh yeah, surprise, the big monkey knows sign language.
Yeah.
Like, oh, good job, Coco.
Like, I hate fucking that character pissed me off. So it was I guess 3 things. What was my last criticism of the movie? Maybe it'll come back to me, but I had another problem with it. But it was good for what it was. I mean, oh yes, okay. So the end of the movie, when Godzilla and King Kong are fighting Mechagodzilla, they're not the ones that like decide that they win. It's the fucking fat dude. No, it's the little fat kid that played Russell in Deadpool 2. I forget the guy's name. I forget his character, but he like. They're fucking trying to like hack in after like 5 minutes beforehand. They were like making fun of hackers.
The coffee.
And no, it was whiskey because there's some stupid storyline about how like the podcaster's wife is dead. He's like, well, when I give up, I'll drink. It's like, really? No, shut up. Anyway, so he's like, so have that drink now. And then Russell, the little fat Indian kid's like, drink, and like grabs the flask out of his gun holster and sprinkles it on the fucking electrical board, and it makes Mechagodzilla just like short circuit. Like he goes stupid for like 2 seconds and it just shuts him down. But then he gets wired back up like he's ready to fight again and just doesn't. And then Godzilla and Kong whoop on him. But like we've already established at this point that Mechagodzilla is like disconnected from their servers though. And he's become autonomous.
Yeah.
So why does his server still short circuit him? Yes. Yeah. Do you have an answer? I'm asking Gary.
I do not.
Okay, because that
I think
no
it's just
sense.
one of those things where somebody was writing this fight scene, and then they presented it to the director.
And they're like, how do they make the humans relevant?
Well, and the director's sitting there and he goes, yo, Mechagodzilla's kind of fucking him up for a little bit. And they're like, yeah, I don't know how we're going to get him back. And they're like, we're going to have a fat kid from New Zealand just pour whiskey.
I would have much preferred, like, have them fight by water, and then they just push the robot into water and he short circuit. Yeah, something stupid. You know, none of this, like, pouring whiskey on a... No, dumb. But that was my other gripe was
even
like,
if it would have had like a little like military involvement, like a plane comes out of nowhere, fucking shoots at Mechagodzilla,
like hits in his eye or
just
something.
gives it like a 2 second, that same 2 second span for them to get up,
like a window to breathe, and they get in and right. And I don't know. I mean, the Mechagodzilla stuff was cool. I'm not completely sold on his design, and I don't know why. I liked how he looked. But I just looked at him and I was like, why do you look so, like, blocky, I guess? Or, like, so, like, I don't know how to describe it.
I think they really try to make it look like a skeleton for the most part, but still put some meat on it.
Right.
And then it just ended up...
I just wish he looked a little bit more, I guess, like, more metal, I guess.
Beefed up?
Yeah. I don't know, but, like...
Inject him with some steroids?
No, yeah, like a bigger metal thing. But that's neither here nor there. I don't know. I thought, like... Even though I knew he was coming, the whole like how he actually came up and like disconnects and kills the bad evil businessman, that was dope. It's just so dumb. So question: when they go into Hollow Earth and they find, do they find like where Kong or like where kaijus are from, right? Not just Kong.
So. From like the canon of the entirety of like that movie series, it's really all over the place on how they describe Hollow Earth. Because at first it's like, oh, they roamed the Earth, and then
they burrowed, right?
Yeah, and then the Earth became inhabitable for them. So then they went down into the Hollow Earth, and that was like their travel system to get from one way to the other, anyways. So they just stayed there,
right?
But then, like, the way it's described in this movie is that is originally Kong's, like, domain. And that Godzilla, it basically, like, Kong is Hollow Earth, Godzilla is waters and everything around, and then there's some on land.
Okay. So why is there, like, a drawing, like a spiral of Godzilla on the ground, in which the drawing is fake, but apparently the scales are real, and he gets the axe out of the scales, or no, he charges it, right? Or
So
some shit. He like docks it in like an old school iPod and then pulls it out.
The axe is made out of one of Godzilla's dorsal fins.
Well, why is that in the ground?
Like where they put it in the ground. I have no clue. Because when me and Joey were talking about it, he was saying that like that was the power of like Hollow Earth. But the only person or the only Titan capable of using that power is Godzilla.
I thought the power of Hollow Earth was like in Hollow Earth. I thought it was like the blue shit that they siphoned.
Yeah.
God, this is so like we're looking way too much into it, but I'm just like curious, like if it was Godzilla, because my interpretation of it was like it was King Kong's like domain. So why is there a Godzilla drawing? That's what I was curious about. Because there had to be.
It's like a whole like Kong's race. That's like their shrine. That was their kingdom, and then now it's a tomb for them. But I don't understand the draw. Maybe fucking the power is supposed to resemble who it comes from.
Well, see, because I
they
remember
have like a dead lizard buried underneath the ground that they siphon from. I don't know.
Yeah, see, because I remember the trailers came out and you see Kong with the axe, and I was thinking like, oh, well, I mean they do CGI tricks all the time, so obviously they're going to show Godzilla with all his scales and everything. But I kind of figured that like in the middle of the fight, he broke off one of Godzilla's scales, and then in the midst, like I would have preferred like a little bit, and you take away more parts with the humans being hollow ground or hollow earth, but I would have much preferred like a little bit of like a chase scene or like a scene of like getaway pretty much or keep away, and where King Kong literally has to swing around the city and like he's keeping Godzilla away, but he's like making this axe and then he's able to use it against him after breaking off a scale. That would have been cool. I don't know how you do that in Tokyo.
I just think for the case of putting the story along, they're like, here's the weapon.
You know what? And I loved seeing Godzilla and I know it was in Tokyo, it was Hong Kong, right?
Yeah, they're in Hong Kong.
Watching him in neon lights. Dope. Oh my God. Like, because that's something I legitimately haven't seen since this game.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
It was, you know that song Neo Tokyo?
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Scandroid, right?
Scandroid.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Listen, or like if I was to put that song on that soundtrack, it would be right there.
Yeah, for sure.
Just in the middle of the fight because the neon lights were badass.
Great, fantastic. The special effects in general were just, it's a gorgeous movie to look at.
What drove me nuts is, we were talking about this, is Godzilla burned a fucking hole to the center of the earth, saw Kong, said, fuck you, dude, and then just walked away because he was like, oh, yeah, I know there's a robot here that I'm supposed to fuck up. Kong comes up to fuck him up, and through all of this, Godzilla is laser beaming the shit out of everything.
Right. He's just trying to clip King Kong.
And the only thing Kong has to deflect it is the fucking scale.
Right.
That makes sense. Cool. It's part of Godzilla. Well, Kong fucking rips off like the top of a building and uses it as a shield, and it's not affected. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, no, I saw that too. Yeah, it
was
make
so
a whole lot of
stupid,
sense.
but I was just like, fuck it.
Yeah.
The monkey, I guess, needs to live.
You know, I don't know. So I originally thought the movie was gonna. I thought I knew how it was gonna plan out. Like all of those scenes in the trailers that would eventually come into the movie of Godzilla breaking cities and fucking things up. That's not actually Godzilla. That's Mechagodzilla, like the original. And then the scales are gonna drop, and it's actually shiny. And it's like, insert anime, and then it's all that. But I was surprised that like it was actually Godzilla. Like they got me. Well, I didn't expect that.
They did. One thing that I liked is they kind of explained that his Godzilla fucking things up
or was like for a reason.
Yeah,
I was surprised that there's that level of like ingenuity in the script.
Yeah,
I didn't expect that.
It's just not like, oh, here's a big monster and for some reason he's breaking shit. Like, no, he actually senses that something is wrong and he knows he needs to destroy it.
Yeah, he's like, hey, you guys are kind of breaking our deal. Can we not right now?
Look, I was just trying to take a fucking nap. And y'all out here, we need to beat Godzilla.
Yeah.
What if he loses his mind? Like, I literally saved you guys from Ghidorah.
Twice. No, from monsters twice, but Ghidorah,
Ghidorah and then the first Godzilla. But yeah, he's like, I saved you guys and then just decided I was going to go hibernate for a little bit. But no.
I'm trying to take a nap.
So stupid.
But yeah, I was surprised that it was like actually Godzilla. But like, what like, and I get it because like the evil corporation is not going to expose themselves. Like I get that, and that's like a false flag just being like handed to you. So I kind of get that. But like Godzilla does one attack on one place on a major corporation, and everyone freaks out. Right? Oh, we got to stop Godzilla. You know. I'm not making a connection to like 9/11 or anything, but I mean but I mean it's the same thing. It is, but like not the like. God, I should have said that. Like the whole like I said that wrong. Like
So
the one attack made everyone freak the fuck out. It was like, well, maybe there's a reason this is happening, right? Maybe it's not exactly as it seems. God, I got.
Are you or are you not comparing a radioactive lizard to two planes? Because. No, I shit you not. If George Bush would have popped up just going, oh, we got to do something about this. No, dude. I would have lost my fucking mind.
Well, that was
then.
literally like, that was the evil dude. That was basically that.
So George Bush is a Latino man who owns a tech company.
What was the name of the company? Apex?
Yeah.
We want to be the Apex Predator, so we're going to name our company Apex. And so, like, I don't know, like, this might be a good segue into Justice League, but like, remember that scene in Justice League where like the cops show up and they're trying to investigate, like, hey, where did the mother box go, Silas? And Silas is like, well, I don't know. That's dumbing it down, obviously. But he's like, oh, I don't know. And then the Adam's like, I don't know either, man. That's crazy. Like, you're telling me there wasn't one investigation team that went into like a federal level that went into the site? Just like what happened, what are the side effects of Godzilla attacking, and they just like, I mean, for Christ's sake. So there's so in like the room before the control room where they're like testing Mechagodzilla, there's like a neon sketch of Mechagodzilla on the wall. Like there's a sketch that lights up, and like I remember seeing that. And I was like, oh, they're doing Mechagodzilla now. Cool. But, like, there's not one, like, outside investigator that saw that and was like, are you guys studying or are you making something? Like, and then all they have to do is kind of just, like, look.
Sus.
Literally, they just have to kind of look that way 45 degrees and they see a giant robot. They weren't hiding the robot either.
Oh, fuck no.
It was just there.
And they just had a bunch of skullcrawler eggs and shit. I did really enjoy that they actually incorporated how Mechagodzilla operates with using
with Ghidorah's
old parts of Titans.
Yeah.
And
is that a
Ghidorah's
thing?
Yeah, no, that's actually how the original Mechagodzilla is powered in the old one.
Through what specifically?
Through like body parts of Titans. But I think if I remember correctly, because I haven't seen Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla in a while. But
it's been a few hours or what?
It's been like 6 minutes. But I think they actually used like the body parts of Titans that Godzilla fucked up and then put them together to like power each aspect of it or whatever. Like their energy flows is the power source for Mechagodzilla.
Okay, because Mechagodzilla, who is he made by originally? Because I know that God, I'm going to butcher this, but like, there's that alien race from wherever that was like where that arena on the screen is actually being held. There's like that alien race that sends Space Godzilla, right? Right. Can you look that up real quick? Just go on Google and look up Space Godzilla and go to the Wikipedia, because I feel like that shows the alien race that created him. But so where did Mechagodzilla come from in like the old school like Japan movies?
Yeah, he was just made by the Japanese.
And
They used Ghidorah and other Titans to make it. Oh, I forgot how stupid he looked.
Dude, okay, so the Wikipedia up, yep. And then
development?
Eventually it shows like
Early concept, the motherfucker got 4 legs. Jesus Christ.
He was made by I thought he was made by an alien race. Try and research real quick which alien race is in like the Godzilla canon. But yeah, so that's the kind of wacky stuff I want to see.
See, and like,
I'm sorry, did that say Space Godzilla Pale Ale? Is there a beer based off of Godzilla?
we're about to find out. No shit.
It's from Noctera Brewing Company. Not very strong, 5.5% alcohol content. Figure out where that's sold. That's your new objective. Figure out where Space Godzilla is brewed, and the next time you're on, we're drinking like.
Oh, we're getting hammered.
Yeah,
we are getting.
Oh my
cinnamon toast
gosh!
fucked up.
And now that I have a job that doesn't exactly siphon me for money, I can actually like not be broke.
Hell yeah, brother.
Okay, I trust you to find that somewhere.
Yeah,
Anyway, so.
it's in Ohio.
Fuck it. I have friends in Ohio. I'll get them to ship it to me. That's cool. Anyway, I mean, I liked it a lot, and for all the stupidity that we just listed, the mass stupidity, and I'm sure you could just like break it down. Oh my word! You know we have to drink that, right,
Dude.
God, I got to get better at video editing so I can show the picture of this. Can you like bookmark that as well, please, David? Your new mission is to figure out where we can buy that, because that is
This thumbnail's gonna have Space Godzilla Pale Ale and fucking Stoned Monkey.
out of the balloons. So,
yes.
So for everything stupid that we just listed, I thought it was like, again, they rushed through the human stuff because they knew what we wanted, and like the monster fights were great. Even the little skirmish in Hollow Earth between King Kong and the
Flying lizard. Flying snake.
the flying like bats looking thing. Oh no, it was a snake.
Well, they had the snake at first, and then they had like the little fucking.
That's bad news.
What? I fucking wish I was aborted.
The beer is no longer produced by the brewery. Oh my god,
Bastards.
why? We'll find it.
So we're gonna learn how to brew.
Yeah, how to brew
We're
beer.
gonna start brewing beer. We're gonna bring that back.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I'll contact that company, like, listen, like, I'll sponsor my podcast, please, and then we'll figure a way to bring you guys back. I'm gonna do it, dude.
What amount of money do I have to invest to get this going again? Fight for what you believe in.
Oh my god, that needs to come back. Some absolute mad lad and his idiot friends were like, you know what? We can brew one beer, and that's gonna be Space Godzilla Hazy Pale Ale.
Yeah.
Who doesn't want to drink that? These are also coming from guys that drink Budweiser, but that doesn't matter, all right? All right, anyway, so I thought it was great. I want to see this continue, but what I'm afraid of is, because I'm not smart enough to know this, and I haven't like researched it enough, but I don't know how much, like, yeah, obviously there's like the subscriptions that like HBO Max gets as revenue, or like Netflix and Amazon Prime and all that stuff. Like they get money from that, but I don't know how they make their money from viewership, right? Because like in the theater, like you get your money from the ticket sales, but like, do you just hope your investment returns over time? Like, I don't know how far along. I just know that they don't get as much money from HBO Max as they would in a theater release.
Yeah, I think what they're trying to do as of right now is, because like there's some theatrical releases in the U.S.
Well, Godzilla vs. Kong, my uncle who lives in Alabama, he's going to see it tonight in theater. But that's not like nationwide. And then Army of the Dead, Snyder's new movie, is going on Netflix and theaters. So
I think what it has to do is right now the WB, I feel like they're going down a road where they're really trying to dump money into their movies and revive what they are.
I have a very strong opinion of WB, but continue.
Like it seems that like, especially with their induction, or like them bringing Zack Snyder back in and be like, hey, can you unfuck this pig? And then he unfucked the pig.
But that wasn't WB though. That wasn't WB. We can get into that in a little bit. But
I feel like Warner Brothers as a whole is starting to just go down this fucking shit stain.
Yeah, they are.
Of just producing movies. And so I think just in order to get their fucking products out there, they're just going to dump money
through HBO Max.
And hope. And then people are like, oh yeah, Godzilla versus Kong was cool, or this was cool. Whatever is coming out next from the WB, they just keep forwarding because they can only last so long putting like shitty fucking TV shows out.
Well, they did. Well, okay, so counter to that, Lovecraft Country is amazing. And if you haven't seen Lovecraft Country, you would love it. Have you seen that?
I have not.
So basically, it focuses on this guy. I forget the guy's name, but he's played by Jonathan Majors. And it's in the time of, it's right after World War I believe. And can you look up Lovecraft Country real quick, David, and see what time that TV show takes place in? And basically, he's, without getting too deep into it, he's finding out about his heritage, and he's finding out like where his line comes from and the town that he resides in, and a bunch of like Lovecraftian shit.
I've seen this or seen the thumbnail for this.
Yes. So I want to curb your expectations. It's not like by the end of the show, you're not going to be like halfway through, there's not going to be a bunch of like fish people and krakens and like Cthulhu and all that.
I'm hoping it's just like weird dark mysteries.
Exactly. So look at the time period.
50s.
Okay, in the 1950s. Okay, cool. So that's World War II.
Yeah.
And it's they focus on the town where Lovecraft wrote all of his stories, and it's him and like a few of his friends and then a family member. They're investigating what's going on, and it's a 10-episode series, and they don't exactly stick the landing in the ending, but like the first 9 episodes are solid. Like they are really good. Like I haven't been that invested in a TV show in a long time. Really good if you want to check that out.
I will.
It's good shit, dude. It's easily something you could knock out.
I really enjoy is that like the whole idea of like Lovecraft style horror is making its way into this spotlight. Like I follow a page on Facebook and it's the H.P. Lovecraft Historical Society, and they post some fucking trippy shit.
Oh yeah, dude.
Like they post some, like I'll be scrolling before bed, see that shit, and turn my phone off. Like cool, that's another nightmare for the pile.
So I'm not gonna beat a dead horse, but dude, if you want Lovecraftian stuff and you love sitting playing PlayStation, Bloodborne.
I'm not gonna buy it,
dude. It's so good. It's so good. It's so good. But anyway, I'm not gonna beat a dead horse.
You can give me your copy. I'm not gonna buy that game.
I'll buy it for you. It's $20. I'll buy it when I get paid. I'll buy it for you. Like I will. It's that good. Like, anyway.
I will after I beat Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Yeah, so that's a really good show to look at for that's on HBO Max. I hear Amy Adams' show that was on like 2 years ago was pretty good through HBO Go, but now it's got like ported over. But yeah, I just my fear is that whenever we get to a point, because I mean, if we're not at a point of normalcy with this whole COVID crap, by the time the next Godzilla movie comes out, then like, I mean, we're already in deep shit by then, but like, so I'm hoping that we're able to get back to normal, everything's back in theaters, and we're watching these movies again. And I worry about, because these movies obviously have a cult following, right?
Yeah.
I worry about theater longevity, because if you had to look at like their DC franchise and then like the Godzilla franchise, it's like, okay, the culmination, the big climax of DC is going to be Justice League 1. And the big culmination of the Godzilla franchise to popular audiences, right? Not the cult following, but like to mass audiences is Godzilla versus Kong. Well, they already did that now, and it's on HBO Max. So now what do you do next? You know what I mean?
I think it's in kind of like this weird limbo where you look at streaming networks like Netflix and Hulu where they have their originals, right? And like I pay almost fucking like $90 on Hulu a month. I also have like the live TV and everything. I dump money into Hulu.
Oh, okay. So you have like the extended packages.
Yeah, I have all of it. I have HBO.
I got the $1.99 special like for Christmas where it's like the Hulu with ads.
So get the shit. I get Hulu live TV because me and this fucker want to watch hockey games and shit. Mm-hmm. The fucking team we like isn't even televised. So now we got to go through another streaming service to fucking watch them.
Well, because like it's crazy. So funny you bring that up. It's like people like, oh, streaming is so much cheaper than like the cable TV. And I'm like, okay, well, that's probably fair. How many streaming services do you have? Because like your average TV package, I know my chick's family, they pay like I think $75 a month for their like cable and then some TV, whatever the packages are called now, right? Mm-hmm. And then so it's like, okay, well, how many streaming services does the average person have if they don't have cable? Well, you've got Netflix. That's like what, $11 a month. You've got the Hulu with no ads. Is there a fucking bug in here? There has never been a bug in this garage.
Okay. Continue.
I'm a clean person. I don't
Please
like bugs. Anyways, so the Hulu without ads, but none of the other crazy shit is like, I think
$15.
$15 a month. So now you're at 26. Then you have HBO Max, which is $16 a month. So now you're at $42 a month. Then you have Amazon Prime, which is another $15 a month. So 42, you're at $57 a month now. And then what other streaming services do people have?
Yeah, we are.
I said Netflix.
That's pretty much it. Like,
it's pretty much it, right? So, and then when the tax adds up to all that, you're inching up to $75 a month. And I get that typically you're going to have like better content with, Peacock. Peacock's a new one. NBC.
Like fucking Paramount.
And then Paramount Plus. Okay, there you go. Right? So assuming you have all those things, thinking it's only $15 here, $12 here, $8 here, that's going to add up to you're paying on your cable package anyway. And you can argue that streaming is better.
And then you're also me, and you have like YouTube Premium.
And then YouTube Premium, and
because fuck ads.
And I don't know if you heard this or not, but NBC over the next 3 months is now going to be pulling all of their content from their third-party services, like their Netflix, HBO, and their like Hulu stuff. They're pulling all of that so they can like keep it on Peacock, so that they boost their stuff. Yeah. Well, I mean, I knew that was going to happen, and then if it doesn't happen the first 3 months, they're going to end their contracts immediately. They've made that public. Like, in the first big blow was The Office on Netflix. They yanked it. Well, they were going to yank it at the end of 2019, and people were like, don't do it. And they're like, fine, we'll give you another year. So they gave them another calendar year with The Office on Netflix, and then they finally pulled it. And so now you can
still never watch that show in its entirety.
Which is fine.
I've seen like 2 episodes every
which is fine. It's not for everybody. And now you can only watch it on Peacock. And that's, I would say, the majority of their subscribers, because The Office has been Netflix's most watched content, movie, TV show, regardless, their most watched content for I think the last like 3 or 4 years. And then their viewership of The Office went up 150% or some shit during the pandemic, because people were just like putting that shit on repeat. Like
that's what I fucking do with Family Guy. I put that shit on.
I can't watch Family Guy anymore.
I'll put it on and I'll go to bed. I'll put it on and then I'll like do homework or whatever the fuck. Just some shit to pass the time. And then every so often there's a good fucking joke that comes along, and it's
like anything past season 6. I'm just not.
And that's where I really enjoyed Family Guy, is because they started getting out of like this realm of like political correctness, and they just started sending it.
Like, well, because they know that like, because can you look up real quick when Family Guy got canceled?
Season 19 or no?
No, they got canceled early.
Season 9.
And then they got revived again a year and a half later.
Fox brought them back for season 10.
Because they're like, fuck our ratings.
Yeah. Dude, the only reason people go on Fox were for fucking The Simpsons and Family Guy.
And then football.
Yeah.
But does that count?
Well, that's Fox Sports more so. You're going to love this.
Yeah.
So
we're drinking
blackened American whiskey.
Blackened whiskey.
And the playlist that it was aged to because
Can you explain that to me? Because your text made no sense.
so me and my buddy were on medical standby for a football game, and he goes, "Hey, I bought this new whiskey." I was like, "You have my attention." And he was like, "It's like $45 a bottle. It's super smooth. It's a good sipping whiskey. You'll love it." Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is after I decided, obviously before this moment, I decided that after this weekend, I'm not drinking for 45 days. Kind of like get that shit out of my body, get out of my system.
I said that last week.
Get a lot better with like my training and my diet. I'm trying to get it back more into that, a lot more hardcore. That's really good.
I keep telling myself every week, the only time like I really give a shit to work out is when I'm at work, and then we'll be getting hammered with 911 calls all day, and then my motivation dies. Then I come home and I'm like, it's time to sleep. I've been gone for 72 consecutive hours. It's time for me to come back and sleep.
Yeah.
And
that's understandable.
like Joey gives me shit. He's like, let's go to the gym. I'm like,
because you work 72s and he does 48s, right?
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And he cycles, but I wake up Monday morning, fucking drive 120 miles to work.
Yeah.
Taking that, it was so nice. So like when we get on shift, we got to check the ambulances right away, make sure everything's fucking good.
Right. And are you a driver now?
Well,
You've been a driver, right?
we did, fuck off. One. It depends. So like if it's a call that I can take, my partner just throws the fucking. We have like these little iPads that we do our calls on.
Okay.
So he just beams that shit at me. But we cycle through. But mainly since I'm the lower license on the rig, I'll be driving anyways.
Okay.
No matter what. It's just two people for the rig anyways. But for the past like 3 weeks, we had a new guy that we were supposed to be training. I showed up. I showed him how to check the truck, and he was just like, "Cool." And I was like, "Bet." Next week, he was like, "I'm here again." I was like, "Cool, I'm going to fucking sleep." I took a nap and like just made this fucker do this shit, and that was it for like the next 2 or 3 weeks of just making him do my fucking work for me. And then I showed up this past shift. I was like, "Hey, where's Austin at?" And they're just like, "We don't know."
He just stopped showing up.
Well, they moved him to a different area. And I was like,
Oh.
fuck. So I looked at my partner and he goes, "You actually got to check the truck now." I was like, "Fuck, check the goddamn truck. Fuck this truck."
That's funny. Okay, so it was canceled
2000.
in 2000.
So that means they got canceled around like season 4 or some shit. Because didn't they start off in like 96?
They started off.
No.
No, you're right, because Simpsons was like 91, 92.
Or maybe 90. I think they got canceled maybe. Fuck it.
Anyway,
That's
so back to
beyond my
Godzilla
brain
versus Kong.
We've been off that for a while.
No, I want to know like your final like thoughts about it.
Love it.
Oh, I'm sorry. 02. It got canceled.
Okay.
So loved it all in all. Stupid shit, everything. Fucking loved it. It was one of those movies that you get to turn your brain off, sit down, watch destruction. And, you know, like when Kong broke the simulation and he's smarter than all of us combined, I was just like, fuck, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
And then, you know, they have like their little moments where you have to disband your belief. And there's some people that are just like, "Man, that's fucking stupid. How do you enjoy that?" It's like, dude, I spend every day of my life having to actually use my brain for the most part. Like, working, whatever, I got to fucking think. So if you present me some mindless shit that I get to fucking enjoy, I'm going to fucking do that. And it was fantastic. They had a whole universe at their fingertips, and they only gave you a small slice of the pie. There's so much that they could fuck around with, and I think they're going to do it. And it's beautiful.
So where do you want to see it go next? Like if you were to like paint the picture of like the next, because we've had 2 Godzilla movies and 1.5 King Kong movies. Even though like Godzilla vs. Kong was pretty much Kong's
More
movie.
a Kong movie.
So let's say we did Godzilla next. What would you want, like villain, like monster wise?
His opponent.
Yeah.
I don't know which Titan, because it's too early to bring in fucking like Space Godzilla or really anything like that, because You're going to go from like, oh, he's fighting a monkey and a robot to this alien Godzilla came in. Like, you're going to hammer them with that? Fuck no.
Yeah.
Your audience is going to shit. People like us are going to be like, oh, fuck.
Like, hey, that's cool.
Like,
yeah.
Yo, they got an alien lizard now.
It was even that, like, where do you go after that?
Huh?
I mean, well, because it's like, where do you even go after that? But so if it's not that, then what would you want? Would you want that?
Mecha King Ghidorah. I would shit a chicken if that popped up.
That's like too repetitive, though. Because
All these movies are repetitive.
Well, because it's like, okay, we had Godzilla fight.
Super Godzilla versus Mecha King Ghidorah.
Well, we had Godzilla versus King Ghidorah, awesome. Then we had Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla, awesome. Now we have Godzilla versus Mecha King Ghidorah. It's like, you guys couldn't come up with anything original. Like,
they're gonna bring back Mothra in the next one,
right?
Because Godzilla and Mothra have a special connection,
right? Yes.
And I think it's gonna go back to, they're gonna introduce one of the other Titans just for him to fight before they even go down like the whole Mecha King Ghidorah shit or Space Gods.
God, that's ridiculous.
Dude, I would shit a chicken if that movie made it to theaters today.
See, you know what? Actually, that kind of brings up a good idea. Like, what if like they really did a true monster verse, and they moved away from Godzilla? Like, they make one more Godzilla movie, and they kind of like, they don't kill off Godzilla, obviously, but they kind of step away from him.
Something else,
and we get like a solo, like Rodan movie or solo Mothra movie, and they fight against one of those things.
Or you know, what would be cool is if they did like a fucking. This is gonna sound so fucking cliche. If they did a goddamn like origin story for the Titans, no human interaction.
That'd be great.
It's like a
that
narrator
would be great.
style, like telling like back in the old times.
See, that would honestly be great. Is if we saw like you don't really get what we know as proper Ghidorah, Gaiden, Rodan, Mothra, and all of them. You get
living in their whole
the before.
Yeah,
that would be great. I'd be down with
fun.
that. See, and I think that Godzilla, if they want to do it very simplistically, minimal humans, maximum monster fights, I think it almost lives in the same camp as Snyder's DC universe, where it's like that is really well suited for an HBO Max miniseries, because people get so mad at, so like, okay, Supernatural, that TV show that recently ended. The biggest complaint of that show that people have is for all the storytelling that they have in the world building, they fall victim to the monster of the week, the villain of the week. Storyline is very simplistic. The Flash fell into that. Really, any like CW show recently falls into that.
And like I started getting into Arrow, and then what pulled me out of it was just like, oh, who is he fighting this week?
See, and it's tough.
And like that old style of like 60s storytelling or like 70s and 80s is just like, who's the Hulk gonna fight today?
Yeah, the serial storytelling of the TV shows. But that fits perfectly with Godzilla. Mm-hmm. That's perfect. So if you wanted to do you couldn't obviously do the same like entire budget, but like, well, actually no, that's not true, because all the money that Disney's pumping into their Disney Plus shows for the Marvel universe. If you want to do a movie scale, like a 45-minute episode, 6-episode miniseries that has a couple of seasons, and it's not a miniseries anymore, but it has a couple of seasons, and it's Godzilla taking on these monsters that culminates into a big thing, leads into the next. You get to showcase all these different monsters, and you can have a storyline that goes through it, or you can just have monsters fighting. What's wrong with that?
Big monster.
Big monkey.
Big monkey.
No, big monkey. And
I want that.
That's a keychain. Oh, it's out of stock.
Fucking, why do people have to ruin everything that I love?
First, we find a Space Godzilla beer, gone. Mecha King Ghidorah keychain, gone.
I swear, man. See, and this is just on me. I hope this shit takes the fuck off.
Yeah.
So the merchandise can come back and I can go back to buying really stupid shit.
Are you not right now?
I can buy more stupid shit.
What to say? Like,
I mean, fuck. I spend my money on dumb shit.
But those are cool glasses, though.
These are fucking amazing.
I love those glasses.
They're fantastic. But
Mecha Shin. Oh, okay. So have you seen Shin Godzilla, the Japanese movie that came out like 4 years ago?
Yes.
Is it good?
It's the same kind of thing. You're disbanding a lot of your beliefs, but like the storytelling, from what I remember, was relatively. It had substance. It was actually kind of like, not so much like. It was enjoyable to watch.
Okay.
Let's put it that way.
Okay. Well, as long as it was good.
Yeah, it wasn't like too horrible. You're not like sitting there like, oh, I'm expecting a good storytelling. But it's also has like some good storytelling.
But it's
overall.
Is it under the Toho brand?
I have no clue.
Okay. I just didn't know or not. Well, one thing I do want to buy, though, which I thought was...
Look, that's for your statue collection.
What is that? Dude, so actually, funny you bring that up. Prime One Studios, a statue company, they made a bust of Godzilla for Godzilla vs. Kong.
Stop.
I'm not going to buy it.
Don't even fucking tell me.
Yeah.
No, because I will buy that.
Pull it up. Look up Prime One Godzilla.
Don't fucking look that
Please
up.
do it. It's cool. Dude, a Prime 1, like the numeral 1. Oh my, you suck. A little space between Prime and 1, please. Yep, and then Godzilla Bust.
I'll show you a bust. Are you still sponsored?
Kinda.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's it right there. No, that's legit it right there. Go down to the right with the purple picture. Where it looks most purple. Yes. Yeah, that's it right there. Isn't that dope? Like in Prime One. So remember that?
How much is that?
It's 900, I think.
Okay, so I have a credit card.
So,
dude, that's fucking amazing.
So do you remember that Superman statue that I had that I sold to Joey?
Yeah.
Prime One made that statue. Same quality.
I'm gonna buy that.
They make really good stuff, dude. I don't know if it's on because through North America, you can only buy Prime Ones. If you want to pay for Prime One stuff without like absolutely dumb shit. Now, granted, the shipping's gonna be dumb anyway.
What the fuck?
Oh well, okay, no, wait, go back.
I'm working on it.
It's $1,500 for the bonus version.
Oh, I was about to shit a whole ass chicken.
So no, it might be like $1,200 for the regular then. I thought it was a lot cheaper than that. That's my fault.
Look, I was gonna get my credit card down.
Yeah, but so like
I can buy shit.
So you can. I don't know if it's on Sideshow yet, but because Sideshow is the distributor for all statues in North America. So whether it's Prime One, their own collectibles, Sideshow Collectibles, or like Iron Studios, they all go through Sideshow.
It fucking has an LED light up on it.
Yeah, dude, it's cool, and it's like the detail you see.
And
the details that you see in that, like, this is the most generic thing to say, but the pictures don't do justice to what Prime One does. Like, it's legitimately fucking good.
I think last time I checked, I still have like $4,000 left until I hit my limit.
You just made me feel so much better.
So, well, I owe $8,000 as of right now.
God bless you.
$8,266.
God bless you.
Because Navy Federal wanted to be an asshole,
Dude.
and they're like, "Hey, do you want a credit card?" And I said, "Yeah, you're fucking right, I want a credit card." And they're like, "How about a $10,000 limit?"
Oh my God.
And I was like,
Word.
"That sounds good." I went and bought a gun the next day, like a fucking true American. And then
support your Second Amendment rights, people. Support it.
My limit is $12,700 right now.
So that is absolutely insane.
Because
So
every year since I've gotten that credit card, they're like, "Hey, do you want an extra $500?"
that's how they get you, dude. So no, the way Bank of America does it is like, so I got my last boost. Thank God I got it when I did. I got my last jump when Evan and Joey and I, when we all got that house for the first time in 2018, and my limit went from 1,000 to 3,000. And I was like, okay. I was like, all right, man, I know what you're doing. That's a trap. Like, that's a trap.
See,
and then, but recently, this past summer in 2020, this past summer of 2020, it went from $3,000 to $6,500, and I was like, stop.
And just looking at this, I'm so thankful that I have $12,000 to borrow.
So what I would say is, like, if you really want me to, I'll send you the link whenever they put it up on Sideshow.
You know, I made fun of you motherfuckers for buying.
Well, because what's cool, what they do is you don't pay $1,500 outright, is you do payments. Because like they just announced this, obviously, because Godzilla Kong came out. Godzilla vs. Kong just came out, dyslexia. So this probably isn't going to be in your house until, like, honestly, with the way Prime 1 does it and with how long it takes them, best case scenario, you're not going to have this for a year and a half.
What the fuck?
Yeah, you're not going to have this for a year and a half because they make every single one of these by hand.
I've lost interest.
Yeah, well, that's fair. Yeah, you're not going to get it immediately. I think the quickest turnaround between a pre-order date and a actual shipping date was like 8 months. And that's like for the mass market, like the Batman stuff, the Superman stuff, Spider-Man stuff.
Look, I order shit normally, like through USPS or FedEx or any of that shit. And it's like, hey, it'll be there in a week. Every fucking day, I log on to the tracking to see where the fuck it is. If I have to wait 8 months,
no, it's a pain, dude.
My mind will actually explode.
No, it's a pain, man. And like, yeah, that's what I've been doing for like the past week for my back roll. Wanted was to come in and it finally did.
I'm sorry, that's a tiny Godzilla in the back. I'm buying it. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, dude, it's cool.
My tax.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't even notice that base. On the back end of the base, there's a Godzilla on a... Wow.
All right, yep, I'm buying it. Oh, fuck.
Wow. Dude, that's cool. Oh, my gosh.
Okay, so I'm gonna...
Oh, you know something was crazy? Oh, my goodness. Okay, we're going to take a quick pause. And we're back. All right.
What the fuck were you talking about?
I don't remember. But I'm glad, like, in all seriousness, like, I'm glad that you got enjoyment out of it.
Oh, yeah,
like,
it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Just something dumb.
Yeah. Obviously, we'll keep it relatively brief. I've already made 2 fucking videos about it. But because you have been especially critical of most things superhero. Like, you like...
Most things DC.
Yeah, so because you liked Aquaman.
Aquaman was good.
You liked Aquaman. We went to go see that. Did you see Shazam yet?
Yes.
I
love Shazam.
Okay, so you liked Shazam. And then the first Wonder Woman. Did you see that?
Okay, actually, you know what? Let's just back this up. I like everything that's not Batman.
Okay, so you didn't... I know you didn't like BVS.
BVS can suck my fucking asshole.
Yeah.
It can eat a box of crayons out of my urethra. Because that movie just fucking...
Okay, so what did you think about Snyder Cut?
It got me interested again.
Yeah,
because like, so for the first like 2 hours, it was like getting taken out of the movie, getting brought back into it. It was just kind of a back and forth because like the slow-mo cuts of Lois Lane walking up to like the Superman fucking shrine or whatever, it was just useless footage.
Okay.
Or that's how I saw it. It's just a bunch of footage.
I mean, that's fair.
I was like, cool, this doesn't drive the story. It just kills time. And obviously this is already 4 fucking hours long.
Yeah.
You're not trying to kill time to make it into a theater at this point. You're just adding some cool shots that you thought you did.
Yeah.
Good job, Snyder. So I was kind of like pissed. And, there's... fuck. It was like a Hulk moment that Joey brought up where, I can't even remember it, but it was like comparing it to that scene in the first Avengers where he's like, I'm always angry. I cannot remember the fucking scene to save my life, but we were making fun of it for the first 2 hours.
Okay.
Just whatever. And then as it started to pick up, I was like, okay, this is actually fucking good. The scene that you and I talked about, the garage scene with Batman, Wonder Woman, where after, or when they were talking about like reviving Superman.
Oh, with the entire league, where they're like, what are we going to do about this?
It had so much more substance to that. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just like, oh, hey, we all hate each other, but we gotta like work together.
Right.
It had like a good tie where it's like,
I agree.
oh, we all come from walks of life or different walks of life, and we're forced to work together.
Well, what I liked most about that scene was like for everything that Batman is, he's a tactician, right? He has a plan. He knows what's going on. He's going to be the leader, whether it's outright leading the team or from behind the scenes. He has the plan. But what I liked about that scene is it took all of them kind of like thinking and being like, we don't really have any other option. And as that tension is building, Flash is finally the one that says, I'm not going to say it, but we're all thinking the same thing. And then really nobody says it. Cyborg pops open the hologram and it's Superman doing the first flight from Man of Steel.
Yeah.
I thought that was genius.
See, and I liked Man of Steel. Like,
Yeah.
it was a great movie.
Yeah, it's a fantastic
And,
movie.
Where DC kind of lost me is it started going down like this super nitty gritty kind of like dark-esque Batman style deal where it wanted to seem more, and this started with like Christian Bale's Batman, where I kind of started falling out of it. Because like Tim Burton's Batman, I loved it.
Okay.
It was super cartoony, super fun. And like out of my superhero movies, that's what I love. Even with Marvel, like I wish they were a little bit more cartoony. But
You wish Marvel was more
I
cartoony?
wish.
How could they get more cartoony?
It's just me. I like the goofy, dumb shit.
So do you like Batman and Robin?
Oh yeah.
With George Clooney? Oh yeah. That makes you happy. Hey, if it does makes you happy, makes you happy.
I love it.
Okay.
It's fantastic.
Okay.
It just because I like the goofiness mixed with kind of like that dark-esque feel that it's still nitty gritty and like some. Adam West's Batman made me feel things. I loved it.
Okay.
Just because it was dumb. Like there's one scene with Batgirl where she's trying to explain something and Adam West goes, "We have no time for women's explanations, Batgirl. We gotta go." It's just dumb. And I get it. It's written in a different era, so that joke held at the time. But just overall, like the jokes. Like I remember there was one episode of Batman back in the day where and I used to watch these with my grandma all the fucking time when I got home from school.
Yeah.
It was Me TV. It was a fucking channel on like DirecTV.
Yeah, that
channel
rings
50.
Yeah, that rings a really weird bell.
They played everything. Chips, Hogan's Heroes, I watched the shit out of it. MASH, all of that.
Right.
Fucking Percy Jackson at noon every Saturday. But they started playing like the old Adam West Batmans. And there's one scene where like Batman's climbing into a helicopter on like a rope ladder and the shark is at the bottom.
So that's from the Batman 66 movie. And he's hey, Robin, hand me the bat shark repellent.
Like throwing shit at the shark.
He's like punching it and
Like,
he sprays him and the
what
shark explodes.
the fuck? Yeah. Again, back in the day, these guys were just like, we're going to make a Batman movie. Dropped a bunch of acid and just decided to have fucking fun.
Yeah.
Now, like overall, that's what I really loved about like the comic book heroes. Like the Thor from like the fucking 80s
Okay.
was just retarded.
Yeah.
And it goes back to me just liking dumb shit that you get to turn your brain off.
Okay.
Well, what I hated about the new Justice League and even like BVS is you had to be a little bit more invested and like kind of want to give a shit into the storylines where like, so you look at Marvel now and you could just be like, oh yeah, I've never read the comics, but I'm interested. And it's enough to captivate you throughout. Whereas like you and I were talking about, I think like a week ago I mentioned how like the first 2 hours I didn't really enjoy it.
Right.
You're like, oh, well, oh no, it was Wonder Woman 84. I fucking hated that movie.
Okay. And that's fair.
And you were like, well, I enjoyed certain parts because I'm a nerd. And that's what I don't like is that there's some aspects that DC is diving into where like if you don't understand the deeper like fan services that are coming out, then it's not going to tie in.
And see, that's interesting you bring that up because we were talking about that last night when we did our Snyder Cut episode. And I was like, Zack Snyder, when you look at Man of Steel, I still consider Man of Steel to be a very mass audience movie, but especially BVS, and then a little bit less so, but still there with his Justice League, the Snyder Cut. Those movies, that's like what I would make. Is like, I come into this project already knowing what's going on. So either consciously or subconsciously, I'm not gonna pander. Like, I'm going to give you the Batman that I want to give you. I'm going to give you a Superman that I want to give you. And I'll give you the story, but then there's also going to be a lot of subtle things that if you're not a huge fan that's looking at these movies through the lens of a fan and someone who's read the comic books, you're not going to get as much out of it as the average person. For example, when the theatrical cut of Justice League came out, the theatrical cut of BVS came out, and the scene where the Capitol blows up, and everyone's like, "Well, Superman should have stopped it. They should have seen it." Like what the mass audiences in the movie were saying, right? Like, why didn't he stop it? Is he potentially a part of it? And that's what a lot of criticisms was like, why just didn't he stop the explosion? He's Superman. But they make it clear that it's the dude in the wheelchair who explodes. He had the bomb in the wheelchair. Yeah. Through my point of view, I didn't have a problem with that because I was like, oh, the chair's lined with lead. Like, you don't have to say that, but like, I'm kind of just assuming that, yeah,
Superman can't see through.
He can't see through lead, so the chair's lined with lead, and it exploded. Like, no shit. What are you guys not picking up about that? But then watching that movie over and over again, the PG-13 version, they don't say that. Like, they don't say that the wheelchair's lined with lead. So it makes Superman look like an idiot. And then another example like that is the Africa scene in the very beginning is cut down like crazy, and Superman gets blamed for the deaths in Africa. And so the big criticism was like, what? Does the government and do the people really think that Superman shot these people? I'm like, no. You see the same villains using a flamethrower later in the movie. Maybe they framed Superman and made it look like he uses heat vision. But then when you look at the rated R version of BVS, they explain stuff like that. They show KG Beast and his goons torching all of the dead bodies and then being happy when Superman shows up because the plan is falling into place. They explain that his chair, the wheelchair, was lined with lead, and that Lex Luthor set him up to be exploded or to blow up, whatever. And so it frames Superman. And so even with those explanations, I still understand that like a lot of that movie is still for deep cuts, and then there's still a lot of deep cuts in the Snyder Cut. But these movies, like, for everything that they are, they're made for nerds.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the hard part is, so Marvel is made for just people,
families.
Yeah.
It's made for families.
People that just want to watch superheroes. Kids, primarily. They're dumbed down. And, you know, I haven't read Batman comics.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I've seen, like, intermittently, like with some Superman comics when I was younger. Yeah. It just goes back and forth. And so for me, like what I hated about like the theatrical version of BVS is it kind of makes Superman feel a little inhumane. Okay. He seems more detached. And like the younger version is Superman's he loves humanity. He's very emotional when it comes to his connection with humanity. And like the scene with Zod where like the laser beam's going to kill his family and he just snaps Zod's neck. It just shows kind of like on screen, it shows almost like a mental detachment from life.
Well, I disagree because he lets out that like primordial scream when he kills Zod and he realized he just killed the last of his kind. But he made the decision right there that he's going to side with humanity.
You're talking about the strongest motherfucker in the Justice League, and he couldn't just redirect this shit.
No, because he's fighting one of his own. He's not fighting a human. If that was like Batman with lasers,
he couldn't just redirect this shit.
No,
like,
and it's also you add the element of Superman being super inexperienced, so he's thinking on the fly. He doesn't know what to do. He just wants it to end.
Yeah, okay. That gives me a little bit more.
Well, because that was the whole thing with Man of Steel was like people criticized it for being destruction porn. Like how they level Metropolis, right? No, seriously, like people called it destruction porn and like they level Metropolis. But then it's like, okay, yeah, for sure, Superman would not level a city. You're completely right. That is a fair criticism. However, this isn't the Superman of the comic books that like everyone knows. This is Superman being Superman for maybe 5 months. He doesn't really know how to fight. Superman in the comic books never really knows how to fight anyway. He's a brawler. Mm-hmm. So when you look at Superman in this movie, in Man of Steel, he's exactly what he would be in real life. He's inexperienced. He has no idea how to fight these people. And the first opponents that he has are the military leaders of his dead planet. So these people are tacticians. And you see that in the Smallville fight, where they're just tearing Superman apart. And he barely deters them. So yeah, when you go to Metropolis, their goal is, you know what? Even if Superman beats us, right? If somehow Superman beats Zod and we're not able to effectively terraform Earth into Krypton, we're going to make him look really shitty. And that's going to be our legacy. And that's what they do, is Superman ends up leveling a good majority of Metropolis. Like, the final battle between him and Zod is in rubble.
Yeah.
Because that's all that's there anymore is rubble. And so when Superman realizes what's going on, and then finally Zod, he finally realizes that Krypton is dead. Like, if the last remnant of Krypton is Zod, Krypton's dead.
Okay, so hear me out.
Yeah.
Superman was able to snap this motherfucker's neck.
Yes.
He was able to take his own, break that shit.
Yeah.
Couldn't just fucking do that.
So, and that's the reason why I say, like, he just wanted it to end. Because what happens if he aimed up the lasers? We saw what happens in Snyder Cut. When Superman comes back and he starts fighting Steppenwolf, he lasers Steppenwolf. And he holds the laser. He's so intent on destroying Steppenwolf that he holds the laser. Steppenwolf is out of the line of sight, and that laser breaks through a reactor, and it just keeps going. So, you know what I mean?
Like Godzilla, he can go to the center of the earth.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, the way I digest it is Superman just wanted it to stop. And when he realizes what he did, like, he knows he made the right decision siding with humanity, but you're betraying your own people. You know, you're betraying the very last
even
of
then,
the
like, the
Kryptonians.
essence of fucking Superman was he loved humanity to, like, its absolute core.
Yeah.
And so with that, I'm fine with that as kind of like his character ethos, his storytelling.
Yeah.
So cool, whatever. The random Wonder Woman cameo at the end was
Of BVS.
Yeah, of BBS. Yeah. I was kind of just like, cool, fuck it, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you had to introduce a character. I just wish you kind of would have done it differently. And, like, going back to the first Justice League, the theatrical one, yeah, that fucking nightmare.
I feel bad for taking you guys to that.
Yeah,
like,
you should.
I feel so bad.
You
like,
should.
Oh, my God, continue.
But anyways,
yeah.
So, like, one thing that I fucking hated, so we had a Wonder Woman movie. Cool. We have her set up. Fine, fuck it, whatever. Did Aquaman come out before Justice League?
No, Aquaman was after.
Afterwards.
Aquaman was after.
And I remember that was also one of my complaints is they were just kind of like, here's Aquaman.
Okay. No, and I totally agree with that. If you're talking specifically 2017, I agree with that 100%.
And up to that point, like, we knew who Aquaman was, but it was also a huge curveball for people that don't understand, like, the other aspect of the comics because, like, to the majority of pop culture,
he's a wimp who rides on...
he's a white dude with a fucking perfect haircut who rides dolphins and talks to fish.
And seahorses and
but
stuff.
But they don't understand that, like, Jason Momoa's Aquaman is also comic book accurate.
Yeah, to the 90s of Grant Morrison's run.
So that suits, but granted, every white girl within a 6,000 mile radius is just like, oh my God, Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
He's so hot. I'm going to get you demonetized later, I swear. So no matter what, like, cool, fine, fuck it, whatever. Nobody really cared about like the lack of an Aquaman storyline for the reason that he was something new, so it just didn't matter. But like the Flash TV series, pretty good.
Yeah, I haven't kept up with it up through like season like 5, I think.
I've watched it intermittently, and
it's pretty good.
It's
competent for CW.
What I enjoy is like it follows what CW is about, as far as just, you know, the flavor of the week or the villain of the week in this case, and then here's also like some slight character development.
Yeah,
cool, fine, fuck it, whatever. Well, you get the Flash in the first Justice League.
Yeah.
And he just feels like comic relief.
He's worse than that. And like what sucks is there's an interview with Ezra Miller. And they're talking about Barry Allen's role in the movie, and it's like Ezra Miller realizes the pile of shit that came out in 2017, and he like refers to Flash as being on the spectrum, as like
for real, they make him actually seem autistic.
Yeah, as like he refers to him as being on the spectrum, and then but he's not. Like there's
and like that's one of the things that I hated is they made him seem like such an outcast.
Yeah, so he seems like so Ezra Miller says he's on the spectrum, and he gets a whole lot of shit for saying that Flash is autistic, and it's a disgrace to autistic people. And then he detracts. I was like, that's not what I meant. But like that's just a testament to how horrible that movie was. And my theory is that the leadership at Warner Brothers wanted to distance themselves so much from Zack Snyder that they were like, you know what? We're willing to let our flagship movie fail so that we can move on without him.
Well, and like, you know, the whole reason for Zack Snyder even leaving that fucking...
was his daughter passing away.
His daughter passing away due to suicide, right?
Right, yeah.
Part of, like, one thing that really upset me about the WB is they were willing to just let that big blockbuster type movie fail because Zack Snyder had a family emergency that needed to be dealt with.
So here's like the brief timeline, right? So their plan, they were already banking on BVS making $1 billion and literally making $1 billion, doing well, so that they don't even have to think twice about Justice League. Because Snyder, the first mistake Warner Brother made, honestly, as much as I love Zack Snyder, their first mistake was hiring him. Because Warner Brothers wanted to recreate the MCU, but DC. Snyder didn't want that. Snyder wanted a 5-movie arc of BVS, or Man of Steel, BVS, Justice League 1, 2, 3, and you're done. But he would leave his movies open enough to where you can have solo projects going on with like Patty Jenkins or James Wan doing Wonder Woman and Aquaman respectively, where they can play in that universe. You can have extra movies, but the Snyder movies are a 5-movie arc, and when Justice League 3 is said and done, he's done with DC, right? That was going to be his 5-movie arc of telling his story. So their first mistake was hiring him, because if you're not going to do what he wants, don't hire him. You know, hire somebody who wants to make a cinematic universe. Hire a Jon Favreau with a vision, right? Hire him with a Kevin Feige. And their problem is that their Kevin Feige was Jeff Johns. And I've been a huge champion of Jeff Johns because he's an amazing comic book writer. And for better or worse, I view him as our modern day H.P. Lovecraft, because he is so good at world building and character studies. Like his take on Aquaman is phenomenal. Aquaman, The Flash, Green Lantern, his Earth 1 Batman, amazing stuff. But now we're learning, because of Ray Fisher, that he is a uber racist. That he is just this... He is a very racist individual.
He's like, why are all the villains black?
No, so like what happens is, so they're banking on BVS making a lot of money so that they can move on to Justice League. There's like maybe a 45-day turnaround between filming BVS and Justice League. So
That's fucking quick.
Yeah, it's fast because like, so for instance, my theory is the opening shots of Snyder Cut, where Superman's getting stabbed. You see the alternate shots of Batman and Wonder Woman, and then the alternate shot of Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor with Steppenwolf. That was all filmed during BVS. That wasn't a separate thing. Like, they just filmed that and then tacked it on to Justice League. So they turn around within 45 days or so, and they make Justice League. And they're filming it, and BVS comes out. Because if you look at the release date of BVS, that's March 25th. 25th of 2016. Justice League comes out November 17th, 2017. So you have about 18 months to work with. And so by the time that BVS is like released, they're already halfway finished with Justice League. They're already filming this movie. So then they're getting the reception, they're getting the critics' notes as weeks are coming on. And the Warner Brothers people are going to Snyder with studio notes. And he's like, oh, that's cool. And he's still filming his movie. He's filming his movie up until they finish photography on March of 2017. They finished photography. So now you have March until November to edit the movie, get it finished, and get it pumped out to theaters. And in they finish it in March. And then around that time, I believe, is when his daughter commits suicide. But Snyder sticks with the film until about half of May, beginning of June. And that's when Snyder's like, I can't do it anymore. And looking back on it, these fucking shitbags, Warner Brothers releases a statement about it. And they're like, yeah, we were going to let Snyder finish his movie. He wanted to stick with it, but now he's decided it's too much and he's going to move on. Snyder has chosen Joss Whedon to carry on Justice League. I read that and was like, well, it makes sense. At least Joss Whedon's doing it because the Avengers was pretty good. So hopefully he cares. But then, like, look, is Joss Whedon the complete bad guy? No, but he does take a lot of the blame. And we'll never really know what the studio notes were to him. But what we do know for sure, as like specific scenes, but what we do know for sure is that he was brought on in, let's round up and say June 1st. So he has from June 1st to November 17th to reshoot, re-edit, do additional voiceovers and additional CGI to make this movie comprehensible to a person, right? So, and they tell him you got to do all of that, but you have to make it 2 hours long. And that's like credits rolling, ending animations for the film studios. 2 hours long. You have to make it a lot more lighthearted, funnier, redo the CGI, and make it shorter till you get to the climax. I don't know why Joss Whedon took it. I'm going to be honest, because
that's suicide.
No, it's terrible.
It's career suicide because you're attaching your name to something that, like, when I was sitting in theaters and I was right next to you, I remember whispering in your ear going, this is fucking horrible.
Yeah, well, because, like, and what sucks too is, so by law, that's put, not like law, but it's a rule put in by, it's not the Academy. It's like, it's the board of people that decide what percentage of work gets the specific credentials on a film. There can only be one director. That's why you have the Coen brothers, the Wachowski brothers, right? You never have blank and blank, right? You have Anthony and Joe Russo, right? You don't have Joe Russo and Anthony Russo because that would be illegal. You have to have a single director or directing team. So that's why in the 2017 version, Zack Snyder is still credited as the director. But what's interesting is to get a writing credit, you have to write at least 33% or 35% of a movie. And Joss Whedon has a writing credit along with Jeff Johns and Chris Terrio. And say what you want about Chris Terrio, he was an assistant writer on Rise of Skywalker, No one really knows how much involvement he had. I know he came in post-production, but Chris Terrio wrote BVS, and he wrote Man of Steel BVS and what we now have as Snyder Cut. So, but from what we now know from studio insiders and Ray Fisher of what was going on behind the scenes, 2017 Justice League was Whedon and Jeff Johns. And so Jeff Johns is a great comic writer, but for whatever reason, he can't fucking do movies because he was also a key piece. And I believe, if you can look this up real quick, look up the Green Lantern movie, the Ryan Reynolds. I think he was a key piece in that. You know?
So the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern movie, I loved and hated at the same time.
Same.
It was dumb. Just Ryan Reynolds wanted to do a movie. So he was like, fuck it, we're going to do that shit.
Well, you know what's funny? But it was funny. Snyder recently revealed that for his Hal Jordan, his short list was Mark Wahlberg. It was this other guy. I forget his name. He's a no-name actor, but he was in BVS as a drone pilot. And when everyone saw his credit and saw a picture of him when BVS was like first coming out, not even in theaters, like, oh fuck, that's fucking Green Lantern, right? That's Hal Jordan. And then it was Ryan Reynolds. He was potentially thinking about doing Ryan Reynolds.
Look, if he does Ryan Reynolds, that motherfucker is going to have.
So go to Green Lantern.
He is going to be in Marvel, DC. Did you see some shit that they were trying to fucking get Ryan Reynolds to do Stan Lee's cameos in the movies now?
Dude, I wouldn't mind that.
I would love
if it was
that.
Deadpool.
As Deadpool.
Yeah.
I would absolutely love it.
Yeah, see, it was produced by Greg Berlanti, who is the mastermind behind all the CW universe. Mm-hmm. I still give him a lot of credit because I like the CW more than I hate it. And then Jeff Johns. And then Mark Guggenheim as well is the guy that helped out.
You can't trust motherfuckers that spell Jeff with a G.
Yeah.
That shit is wrong.
Well, so what's disgusting is now that we have Snyderverse, or Snyder Cut, and for even people that didn't really like it too much or just tolerated it, the consensus that I've seen is that everyone enjoyed Cyborg's storyline. Did you enjoy Cyborg?
So, and that was another thing I was going to bring up. In the first one, I fucking hated Cyborg.
He was like a brat.
Yeah, they were just like, oh, here's this guy who suffered an accident, and then now he's a cyborg. It was just kind of like fucking dog shit.
Yeah.
It didn't fit. They're like, oh, yeah, Cyborg is a character. We need to fit him in, so here he is.
I'm just going to inch that a little bit closer.
In Snyder Cut.
A little bit closer. There we go.
In Snyder Cut,
cool.
What I really enjoyed was Cyborg actually was a fucking character.
Yeah.
He had depth. He wasn't just like, oh, here's this guy that just used to be a football player and then got in a car accident, got fucked up.
And you didn't even know he was in a car accident in 2017. You just knew that something bad happened. And that he fused with the mother box. And so I'll let you get back to it. What pissed me off about Cyborg in 2017 too, they used a different scene for him morphing with the mother box than they did in BVS with him morphing with the mother. Continue.
And so like Cyborg as a whole, he is a legitimate character with actual substance. He has depth. And in 2017, they shot him in the face by just kind of like, oh, yeah, here's a guy who's a robot. And then now in Snyder Cut, they gave you like, oh, yeah, this is what happened. This is what he deals with. This is what he can fucking do. By the way, he's actually productive to the fucking team.
He's crucial.
Like, he's a legitimate element for what the Justice League is to be. He's not just... And, like, there's somebody that was fucking... I swear to God, this complaint pissed me off. Like, oh, the only reason Cyborg was in Justice League was because it was a black guy.
No, okay.
No.
Yeah.
That's not why he's...
So I'm going to build on that, actually. So, Ray Fisher brought this out in his case because he makes... There's a civil case going against Warner Brothers between him and his legal team and Warner Brothers, right? And then there's also the case that he's bringing forward to the public, right, on social media. And if you don't follow Ray Fisher on Instagram, you owe it to yourself, because he's very candid and he brings everything forward that's going on. And his tagline is A, like the greater than sign, and then E, which means authenticity is greater than entertainment. And the reason why they cut out Cyborg from Justice League from the mouth of Joss Whedon and Jeff Johns is they needed to edit the movie down. They needed to cut out the unnecessary parts, and they were afraid of putting an angry black man at the center of their movie. And that pisses me off on so many different levels. There's the obvious and the most important level of dehumanizing a person to an emotion and a color. That is ugly. And then you take a character that has had such a vast and multifaceted history in the DC Comics lore, like Cyborg. He is so important. And then they made him, and Jeff Johns was a part of the team that made Cyborg even more crucial when they rebooted DC into the New 52. The whole Mother Box morphing with Cyborg, that's a New 52 thing. That's never been a thing in the comics, right? That came out in 2011, so relatively recently. So the same guy who made Cyborg even more crucial in the DC universe officially made him a core Justice Leaguer. Cut him out of the movie because he was an angry black man.
Well, you remember the old Justice League cartoon, right?
Yeah.
They never shortcut Cyborg.
Well, no, wait. Cyborg wasn't in the original Justice League. That was.
Wait.
You're talking about Jon Stewart.
Maybe. Anyways,
because there was Teen Titans.
Yes.
With Cyborg.
Yeah. I'm all over the place right now.
Yeah, there was Teen Titans with Cyborg.
Anyways, but Teen Titans with Cyborg, he was never shortcut as a character.
Yeah,
he had depth.
Yeah.
And what threw me off in the first Justice League is he was just kind of oh, that's Cyborg.
Yeah, he's a robot. Yeah.
He's a robot.
He's a CGI monstrosity.
And I'm not gonna lie, a small part of me felt like they just needed to meet this quota. We have a woman, we have a weird, mentally possibly disabled guy, and then a black dude.
It was horrible.
And then the characters themselves were poorly written, and that's one of you know that new Disney movie that came out about
Oh, Raya and the Dragon. That one.
Raya and the Dragon.
I never saw it, but members of my chick's family have seen it.
Some people tried to fucking bait it the movie did horribly because they were touching on an Asian storyline. Well, one, no the fuck it didn't.
Oh, did you watch it?
It's all right.
Okay.
It's a decent movie. I actually like the story for itself.
Do you have to pay for it?
Yeah, that's why it did fucking horribly. Is because it streamed on Disney Plus, and you had to pay $30 fucking bucks to watch this goddamn movie.
And that's going to work out great for Black Widow.
You had to pay money to see this fucking movie on a streaming service that he pays for.
Shout out to David for pitching in for the streaming service.
If you split it between three guys, it's all right. So, we everybody's oh, this movie did poorly because it was women or whatever excuse somebody wants to come up with, right? No, it did fucking dog shit because Disney was hey, give us more fucking money on a streaming service that you already paid for.
Yeah. No, and I agree. And that's why, even if you didn't have all of the political stuff going on behind the Mulan movie where, the actress, openly supported, the Chinese government, which we're not going to get into because I frankly just don't care because we know who's the right guy in that one. Apparently the movie just wasn't well made, and then they charged $30 for it. And then they have the nerve to re-release it on 4K.
So, I watched the Mulan movie.
Did you pay for it?
No.
That's fair.
It's on fucking Disney Plus. I didn't think I had to pay for it. Unless you got a charge to your account that I don't know about.
Whoops.
Big oof. But, like, I watched it, and one of the things that I fucking hated about the Mulan movie was, like, it just wasn't the movie from my childhood.
Right.
When I got Mulan as a kid, I had, like, part musical.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't there no music?
There was no fucking music. And it bugged this shit out of me. Like, I fucking hated it because they started, like, the training part of everything, right? And I'm sitting there, I'm like, let's get down to... No, when are we going to start this?
Continue what you're saying. I'm just going to check this camera real quick. Continue what you're saying.
So, like, they kept getting ready to, like, start these musical episodes, or, like, these musical parts in each movie. Or, I don't know that. In each scene.
Right.
They got ready to do it, and from my standpoint, I'm fucking hyped. I'm like, yes, I'm going to see a live-action fucking music scene. Dope. And then they delivered jack shit. They gave me fucking nothing. And if somebody out there wants to be like, oh, well, the reason the movie did bad was because it was an Asian woman. Fuck, no, it didn't. It did bad because they fucking suck.
Yeah.
They gave me a shit movie. Now, there's probably some bucktooth fucking hick down in Georgia who's sitting there going like, I fucking hated that movie because I swear to God, if I see one more insert racial slur here.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. But one view doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, well, a very small minority of... Yeah, most of the complaints that I saw is just that exactly what you just said. You hit the nail on the head in the beginning, is that every negative criticism that I saw, and there was numerous, is that it wasn't a faithful adaptation of what was originally put out back in like 95, 96. And yeah, if you're going to cut out the core of what the original story is, then why are you and not improve on it? Like, I think it's okay when you adapt something and you do something new that's acceptable. For instance,
and it's like the live action Lion King that came out.
Yeah, I didn't see that either.
I don't remember it very well, but I actually remember kind of like enjoying the movie to some degree.
If you remember enjoyment, then the movie did its job.
But I also remember like some minor detachments. Now, the plot escapes me entirely.
I'm sure the skeleton of the plot is still there.
I can't remember if there was any musical scenes for the most part, but I do remember actually like somewhat quasi enjoying like the movie. And I think when I was first watching that is because there was some degree of like substance that made me feel like a kid.
Yeah, and that's all it needs to do. See, and I felt that way. I don't give a fuck who criticizes me for saying this, but that's exactly how I felt when I watched the live action Cinderella. The live action Cinderella. Have you seen it? Dude, it's fantastic.
I loved it.
It's
great.
I
watched it. It's fucking fantastic. It had decent storytelling, like from a Disney like princess perspective.
It was super basic, but it was great.
It didn't deviate from what we're like expect. You know, like that movie Beast, or the version of like Beauty and the Beast.
Well, yeah, Beauty with Emma Watson.
Yeah.
Right.
I love that.
It was good. I liked it.
And I liked it because it was like a little bit more of a modern storytelling. They used fucking the same shit for the most part.
Yeah.
And it was just something that made you feel like a fucking kid again.
Well, that's the thing, is like, if the studios for whatever reason think they have to put like a smart twist on these adaptions, they don't. Like, you can literally do shot for shot.
Yeah, shot for shot, remake just live action, and I'd still enjoy.
Well, that's why people enjoy, like, I have one key problem with the movie, but that's why so many people enjoy Watchmen, the live action Watchmen movie by Zack Snyder.
I love that movie.
Yeah, people love that movie. Like, the comic readers like it because it is a shot for shot remake of the graphic novel. We could watch that movie and I'll pull out the graphic novel and show you what he's copying. Like, it looks like it's panels on a screen. Now, granted, my main problem with it is just like he misses the point of Watchmen, is that they're not superheroes. And you look at that movie, if you've never read the comic, you'd think they have some sort of superpower outside of Manhattan. So that's kind of like an iffy thing. But even then, right? Like, that when you're making something like that, if you make a shot-for-shot remake and it's not something, I think the only caveat is that it's not something that's already been done live action, you're going to be okay. People are really going to enjoy that because that's what they're asking for.
Well, and it's like any of these comic book movies that come out recently, right? So
here's an example. I'm sorry. Here's an example of thinking you're cute and funny when you really fuck something up. Wanda Vision. Wanda Vision is a perfect example of that. And here's where they failed. The first time they failed is during D23, or whatever the fuck it was, their virtual press conference, pretty much, where they showed like all the Disney projects, and they showed the Disney live action, Disney animation, Star Wars, they showed the whole slate, and then they showed Marvel. And Kevin Feige himself said that there was going to be a multiverse trilogy starting with WandaVision, moving on to Spider-Man, ending with Doctor Strange. And so when you say that a multiverse trilogy is starting with WandaVision, and you like the first, I wish I could go back to the first 4 weeks of WandaVision. I remember watching that with her and being like, that was the quickest 20 minutes of my life. Like, what's going to happen next? What's going on? Like, it's very rare that I go into a comic project not knowing what the hell's going on.
Speaking
it's
of
very rare.
Comic projects, have you watched the first couple episodes of Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
I have not seen episode 3.
I haven't either. So episode 1 and 2...
It's fine. I loved the scene in episode 2 with the older black guy, because in the comic books, he's the old school Captain America from the 80s.
Are you talking about like the new sidekick?
No. The older black guy that they meet when they go to the projects.
Oh, Elijah or
yeah,
whatever?
Isaiah.
Yeah.
So he's an old, like, pull him up real quick. Just look up Captain America Isaiah.
Me and Joey were watching it, and speaking of black dudes in these shows, the new Captain America has
John Walker,
his token black guy.
No, but he's not a token black guy though, because John Walker in the comic books, he runs a team and they're called the Buckies, and one of the members of that team is Captain America Isaiah Bradley. So that is what the black guy used to be back when he was Captain America, an absolutely jacked Captain America.
He's part of the 616 Earth?
Yeah, he's part of the... So the 616 is the normal Marvel universe in the comic books. So that's him, right? Okay, so he wasn't in World War II, but he carried on further past World War II. But if you look up Marvel Comics John Walker, and then go to his Wikipedia, it'll be the quickest place to find it, I would imagine.
Because, like, I remember Joey and I were sitting there.
So, yeah, there's the easy parallel between, like, him and his buddy, and then Steve Rogers and Sam Wilson. There's the easy parallel. Yeah. But Marvel Comics, John Walker. So, go to his Wikipedia page, and then, U.S. agent, yeah. And scroll down very slowly.
And see, like, that's the other thing is this version of Captain America just seems like he's supermoto.
Well, that's what he's supposed to be, because he's the West Point graduate.
Yeah, I was looking at that and I was like, congratulations, Motivator. You're fucking fantastic.
Yeah, keep going down. Stop. Okay, just look until you see an acronym. Okay, there it is. So he called the Bold Urban Commandos, or the Buckies, and he defeats the Buckies. But then he creates, like, in the modern comic books, he creates his own team called the Buckies. And so look up the new character. you just go to Falcon and Winter Soldier, look that up real quick. And so it's like it's like Star something. Yeah, go to perfect. And just go to like scroll down and go to like the Wikipedia page, and we'll look at the cast list. But
anyways, it made it seem like it was his token black character.
Yeah, it's like Star Burst or where the fuck is it?
Because as far as like the lines and like his overall role in the series, he's just like a hype man, is what it felt like.
Yeah, keep going down.
And anyways, like back to all of this is Disney is dumping money into their shows.
Yeah.
They're throwing money at trying to progress a storyline or like these subplots, these massive subplots that people like really might not give a shit about, but for the most part, because it says, "Hey, this is Marvel," so like they give a shit.
So since you bring that up, so they're like side plots, but Feige said it was going to be a multiverse trilogy starting with Wanda Vision. So then when you bring in Evan Peters with silver hair, everyone thinks that it's Quicksilver from the X-Men movies. So then when you see him dressed up like the comic book Quicksilver with the blue and the lightning bolt and the silver hair that's even designed like the old school fucking Quicksilver, and then you have all that happen and you find out that in reality, in this TV show,
he's just a motherfucker living in an attic.
He's the random dude, just like everybody else, that Wanda took over, and she just happened to quite literally recast Pietro as this random guy named Ralph Boner so that she could feel like her brother is back and give him Quicksilver's powers, because that's what makes him look like, seriously, like you have a great opportunity. And again, I remember watching that and being like, we're getting the X-Men. Like, we're doing it. We're getting the X-Men. And then they made it, they turned Quicksilver into a boner joke. And that's when I lost pretty much, like, no, seriously. And that's when I lost all faith in the MCU.
No,
and
for real.
And so now when I go into Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I didn't like the first episode. I thought it was boring. And then the second episode was cool enough. And then I already got the third episode spoiled for me, so I'm not going to spoil it. But I got the third episode spoiled for me, and it's curious. But I'm not even for what all the implications mean in this third episode, I'm not going to set my sights very high because I know what they did with me last time. Like, I know what they did.
They just toyed with you like a little.
No, and then Kevin Feige actually came out after the huge backlash against WandaVision. He made a statement and he was like, nothing major is going to happen in the... Now, look, I would love to eat my words. I would absolutely love to eat crow and say I was wrong for believing Feige. But he said that nothing major is going to happen in the Disney Plus shows, so that just in case someone goes to the theaters and hasn't watched the Disney Plus shows, they won't be lost in what's happening in the main movies. Which, like, I get, but look, I wouldn't have a problem with that if they would have came out from the beginning and said the Disney Plus shows are going to be intimate character studies. If they would have said that from the beginning, I would have tempered my expectations at that. And I probably would have been happy with WandaVision. But instead, they had to go around and say that it was a multiverse trilogy beginning and that all these things were going to happen. And so now the point that I'm at, and I'm going to let you speak, but the point that I'm at is that you know how like much I've been wanting Tobey Maguire back. Dude, I do not want Tobey Maguire anywhere near the MCU because they will just find a way to taint the trilogy that we got almost 10 years ago. That started over 10 years ago. Well, no, it'll be about 20 years ago. I'm just kidding. That started almost 20 years ago when the first Spider-Man with Sam Raimi came out. I don't want Tobey Maguire anywhere near. And there has been behind-the-scenes pictures already released where they wrapped filming on Spider-Man Far From Home. And all of the crew got a shirt of the Spider-Man movie, and it has Andrew Garfield's spider suit on it. And then there's like other merch that shows that it's clearly Tom Holland wearing Andrew Garfield's suit. So I don't know what the fuck that means, but if Tom Holland even breathes in the remote direction of Tobey Maguire's suit without Tobey Maguire in the movie, no.
Oh, fuck
no. I don't want, because like with what they did was like, in my opinion, they spat in our faces with Quicksilver. So I don't want them anywhere near my Sam Raimi trilogy. Leave it alone. Like it is what it is.
Well, and
like
I think I agree with you with that wholeheartedly. Like they shat on an entire storyline that was capable of being built all because of a fucking boner joke.
a dick joke, and that's so MCU. To make a dick joke out of something important. That is so very MCU, and I hate it.
And like one of the things that bugs the shit out of me is, so they had the chance to introduce a literal fucking multiverse, to just dive in deep, and the entire being of the MCU, or of just Marvel as a whole, is at your fingertips to introduce whatever the cinnamon toast fuck you want.
You're over a decade into it. Now's the time.
You've tapped on the basic storylines. Now it's time to get fun.
Like it's now is the time. If you're doing a slow burn to the multiverse, now's the time. Like even because if you want to, it's obviously easy to make the comparison. If you look at DC Comics and what they're doing, they tapped into the multiverse with their CW shows in a very smart way, honestly. And I haven't seen all of it, obviously, but like I've kept up with the bare minimum. And they did Crisis on Infinite Earths on the CW, and they brought in Tom Welling as Superman. They brought in Kevin Conroy as a live-action Batman from a different universe. And they did a bunch of different storylines. They made Titans a part of the multiverse, Doom Patrol. They even brought in Ezra Miller to talk to Grant Gustin's Flash. They made all of that canonical in the multiverse. And just today, they announced that Robert Pattinson's Batman is gonna be Batman of Earth 2. And I'm not on board with that, to be honest with you, because Earth 2 is so fantastical and it's so wonky that I don't think the grounded version they're going for Batman is going to fit with the comic version of Earth 2. But if they pull it off, well, they pull it off well, whatever. We'll wait to see. But DC, they kind of recognized already that they have a multiverse and just fucking use it. Use it. You know, and sadly, it looks like it's what they're going to do with their Flash movie, is kind of just reset everything, completely get away from the Snyderverse and all that. But with Marvel, like, their multiverse is not nearly as strong as DC's. Because DC's, like, the Crisis events is like their bread and butter for their comic books. And so they're, like, oddly enough, Marvel's biggest multiverse piece right now in recent memory has been the Spider-Verse, where they have all the different Spider-Men coming in and they fight. He looks like Morbius, honestly. He's this weird spider dude with gray hair, and he's like attacking the Spider-Verse, and like Madam Web has to help them. It's this whole thing that's pretty cool. But they illustrated just a piece.
Are you talking about in like comics,
okay. And they illustrated the beginning of that very well in the Into the Spider-Verse animated movie. They showed what a multiverse could be very well, very, very well, in my opinion. And if you want to get weird with it, because for instance, Haley Steinfeld, she voices Spider-Gwen in Spider-Verse, but she is beautiful woman. She is also my chick. No, she's my celebrity hall pass. Like that's it. I've decided. Like that's it. 100%.
Is that really your celebrity hall pass?
100%.
Really?
100%,
dude. If I had like an opportunity, it'd be Natalie Portman, because like in my mind, God made 4 perfect women, and that is my mother, my sister, my grandmother, and Natalie Portman. That's how it goes down.
Is that because of Black Swan? Did Black Swan scare you just enough?
You want to know actually the movie that set me on Natalie Portman?
Phantom Menace.
Nope. Your Highness.
Your Highness. Oh my God.
Because she was able to look Danny McBride in the eye and keep a straight face while he was saying masturbation jokes and all of this dumb shit. And then I still looked at her saying, God, if God was to come to me and God was like, I'm a woman, I expect God to look like Natalie Portman. The amount of perfection that goes into that woman is what does it for me. And, you know, I rewatched Thor, and I'm sitting there watching the Thor movies going, Thor is a Norse god. Natalie Portman is a goddess. So it makes sense when Natalie Portman inherits.
We'll see what happens with that for sure. Storytelling wise, we'll see what happens with that.
God.
Dude, did you see the behind the scenes pictures of her?
I have not.
Look up Thor 4 behind the scenes Natalie Portman, because there's a picture of her walking around and she like beefed up.
So I want her to impregnate me. I want her to get me
Look up
pregnant.
Thor 4, like the numeral 4. And then behind the
Just type in
scenes,
Thor twice and see what happens.
Natalie Portman. Yeah, well, actually, go to see those pictures on the side. Yep, they're her in the purple. In the yep, in the purple. In the purple. Go to your left.
Second on the top.
This one?
Yep.
Yo, she got some triceps.
Yeah, she's like beefing up to be the bigger Jane Foster. Yeah, but anyway, so
basically that look says I believe in consent, but I'm still gonna fuck you.
So like anyway, so what I was saying is like, if you want to get weird with the multiverse and do new things, Haley Steinfeld voices Gwen, Spider-Gwen, but she also is playing Kate Bishop in the Hawkeye TV show. There's a through line by actress. So if you want to use a multiverse, like now is the time. You've supercharged it at this point. Like now is the time to do it. And I don't know. I just after what they did with Quicksilver, I already had low expectations post Endgame, but now they're just.
And see, like, my expectations for the MCU is I want them to get fucking nuts.
They have to at this point.
They have nothing else like to go on.
Because they've lost their core people, Robert Downey and Chris Evans. They're gone.
Yeah, and I think after the Thor 4,
Chadwick
Chris Hemsworth
Boseman
is gone.
You know,
Chadwick
rest in
Boseman
peace.
died.
You know, that sucks because he was going to be. It was leaked that he was going to be the leader of the Avengers.
What were they gonna do? I saw a thing about Bucky Barnes and the White. It wasn't like
White Wolf.
White Wolf.
So in the comic books, Bucky. And he takes the, I'm trying to remember correctly, he takes the alias of White Wolf, but I don't think it has anything to do with Wakanda. It was just a nod to his comic book stuff. But it was leaked after Endgame came out that the plans for the MCU was that it was going to be Chadwick Boseman and Benedict Cumberbatch, so Black Panther and Doctor Strange. They were going to lead the Avengers, and it was going to be a power struggle that would eventually break and almost make them lose in Avengers 5 at this point. It would be called the New Avengers. And Avengers 5, they would almost lose. And at the end of it, it would be kind of hinted at that Carol was going to take over, and it was going to be Captain Marvel leading the Avengers, and they would kind of just go from there. But we would still be able to see a lot of leadership out of Chadwick Boseman and Benedict working off of each other. But now that Chadwick Boseman is gone, Ryan Coogler, he confirmed that he's writing Black Panther 2 right now, and they're trying to figure out how to do it. The clear choice for me is just moving up the sister. and making her the female Black Panther. And honestly, I think it would be a really cool dynamic to have her and Tom Holland play off of each other because they're both the apprentices that have lost a father.
And an introduction
the family figure.
Yeah. An introduction movie with both the sister and Tom Holland.
Yeah.
Because Tom Holland has been passed, the reins have been passed down from Iron Man to Peter Parker in this case. What I would really love to see is, due to the untimely passing of Chadwick Boseman, they hand that over because, we've been able to CGI Paul Walker for like 2 Fast and Furious movies now.
Yeah.
We can do Chadwick Boseman. Like, pick any black dude in the world. We'll just have him stand in.
Well, you could have, because I think Chadwick Boseman has brothers, and that's what they did with Paul Walker, is they had his brothers stand in and they CGI'd his face a little bit for the different stand-in scenes. There's only like 4 or 5 of them, but they still did it.
It was just towards like the end of Fast 8 or whatever?
7.
7. So anyways, I think what they should do is kind of have like a passing of the reins, a passing of the king to a queen. One that would satisfy so many.
I don't know who would be bad with that. Like, who would complain?
Exactly. Well, so you'd have like this whole there's not enough female characters, cast, whatever. They'd be satisfied with that because it's getting passed to her.
Right.
You would have the age difference of older mentor to young apprentice.
Yep.
And she is taking over this role that she is nowhere fucking near ready to handle.
Right.
So as Marvel, as Disney, that is 2 fucking movies on its own.
Yep.
You have a whole movie that you can write about her getting past the reins and having to fucking figure it out.
Yep.
And then you have the next movie after that where she figures it out somewhat, and then she's able to do past that.
Yep.
Then you can start expanding on the MCU as a whole, where her and Tom Holland are really fucking running the show because they come from the characters who've
passed on,
who've passed on, and they're expected to produce because they're drafting all of these rookies in for the most part.
So, and I agree. Like, I think that would be the most logical route. We'll see what happens, obviously, because in addition to the movies that are coming out, their slate is so ridiculous. They're also doing the Eternals that's supposed to come out. They're also doing a Moon Knight TV show with Oscar Isaac. They're doing She-Hulk. They're doing Ant-Man and the Wasp 3. There's rumors of Charlie Cox coming back as Daredevil now that Marvel has regained all of the rights. There's just so much going on that it's gonna be what in the world is Avengers 5 gonna look at? Because they already confirmed that Phase 4 won't have an Avengers movie, which I think is the smart move. Mm-hmm. You can't really
well, if you're gonna have an Avengers movie for Phase 4, that shit ain't coming around for fucking
a while.
Oh my god, 12 years?
No, I would say so. Our last Avengers movie was 2019, right? Yeah, 2019. I say we won't get another Avengers movie because it was 2008, 2012, 4 years for Phase 1. So I think it's going to be 2019 to 2026, 25.
Well,
I think it's going to be 5 or 6 years.
I mean, you look at Iron Man coming out in 2008. Mm-hmm. And our first Avengers movie? 2012. So a 4-year span. Well, we're trying to rebuild. So let's say you dump movies out fucking every year. You have
provided that they don't bend to the whole pandemic thing and they stick to Disney Plus stuff.
So we're still waiting on, and I swear to God, it's gonna fucking happen with Taskmaster in the Black Widow movie.
Yeah.
No matter what, you're not gonna get fucking something coming out until later of 2021, maybe 2022.
What I thought was funny, they released a trailer today for Black Widow. Did you see that? So they released a new trailer, and at the end of it, it says July 9th, but it doesn't say what year.
See, and that's what's fucked up is because like that movie was supposed to get released in fucking 2020. Yeah. And then now we're waiting on that shit to come out in fucking 2021. But realistically, we probably won't see it until 2022. And like people bring up like, why doesn't Disney release the movie already?
No, but so if you're trying to look for it, go back, and then go to that first link. Or no, wait, no, just kidding. The one that says 12 hours ago.
It says 24 minutes. It just came out.
Well, no, that was the breakdown of like the Easter eggs and everything.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, if you go to
it says official trailer.
Yeah, if you go to
do you know how to read?
If you go to the end of that, it says July 9th, but it doesn't say. Yeah, it just says in cinemas July 9th, but it doesn't say what year. And I think that's very purposeful.
Well, and like I was saying, that's the fucked up.
Oh, and Loki's getting a TV show. Forgot about that. I couldn't care less.
I don't know what they're gonna do with that because it's a subplot that like not a lot of people give a shit about.
I think a lot of people like Loki, but they like seeing Loki with a lot of other people, or at least with Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah.
And I didn't like this trailer very much.
Well, and like I said, it's a subplot.
Yeah.
It's just this huge underlying deal that has to go like, oh, which one do you care about? And people are like, I like Tom Hiddleston.
Right.
Hey, hold up.
We have to go back to where it all started. This July.
Yes.
Were they this year, this July?
Well, you could.
No, it's just this July.
Yeah, if you couldn't, you could definitely.
Any July
yeah,
is
you
this
could,
July.
Yeah, you could repurpose that to 2022. For sure. I see what you're saying.
They'll probably repost that shit in 2021. At like the fucking.
At the end of August.
Yeah, like September. They're like, this July.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm not very excited for this. And
what I'm excited about is it opens up a storyline with like Taskmaster.
yeah.
And that's a cool Spider-Man storyline that you can fuck with, especially if you want to do Multiverse of Madness. You can have Taskmaster fucking with all of these Spider-Mans.
I would prefer to see Taskmaster against Deadpool. Because he can't predict what Deadpool's doing. Because Deadpool is that insane. That's what I would prefer. Like, and again, the design of Taskmaster, like, I don't know. There's nothing about this movie that excites me, and it really sucks. This just feels like it should have happened like 9 years ago.
Well,
so that her death in Endgame would have meant something.
I think this just has to introduce like a new sub villain to get your first two movies off the ground.
Well, the only thing I think that'll come out of this is if they keep the general in it and they introduce the possibility of a Red Hulk, and at the end of the movie they kind of like at the end of the movie they show why it's relevant to now.
Yeah, but if they fuck around with Red Hulk,
that'd be cool.
I can get down on that shit entirely.
Yeah, I don't know. And this is one of the parts of Endgame that I didn't like because it was just so. No, this is Endgame. This is Endgame. And
that's right. This is the backwards scene.
Yeah, where they so clearly set up Loki. And yeah, I don't want more of Tom Hiddleston. I don't want more of him.
His series just seems like, oh, hey, some girls get lady boners over him.
Because like I want Loki. If they do anything with Loki in this movie or in this TV show, I want him to be the like evil, maniacal demigod that he is, not the cool guy in a leather jacket and that smokes a cigarette and everyone likes him.
What I hate about this is, okay, so obviously I like Norse mythology.
Yeah.
And the whole Loki thing, so one, Loki fucked a horse in Norse mythology.
Okay.
And he created, I think it was like an 8-legged horse that he gave to Odin. Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, that happened. Loki also fucked a giant and made Fenrir the wolf, which that little bastard right there.
Let me see that. Oh shit. Okay.
Loki fucked, I think it was another giantress. He had 3 kids, which is Jorgmunder, the world serpent. And that's who that guy is.
Okay.
So, like, a Disney comic version of Loki is kind of funny to me because he's a really weird dude.
Yeah.
In Norse mythology. He loves to protect Jotunheim, which is the realm of giants. Now, Thor touches on the ice giants.
A little bit, yeah.
But there's a multitude different types. There's the fire giants and whatnot. Well, it's hard to do. If you were to have me come from a writing standpoint for Loki, it's a very difficult fucking standpoint to do.
Well, see, at the end of it right there, that's supposed to be a D.B. Cooper.
Yeah, okay.
An interpretation of D.B. Because if you want to scroll back a little bit where he's wearing the sunglasses.
Oh my fuck. What?
Yeah, so watch. Let it play. Let it play. So, yeah. Stupidity's happening. He grabs the money, D.B. Cooper. And then he jumps out of the airplane, and then they, like, time warp him out, and he goes back to...
So if they're going to make him,
Asgard.
like, a scapegoat in, like, this storytelling for anything unexplained that happened, I'm going to be kind of fucking pissed. Like, it's cool, but at the same time, it's just really dumb storytelling.
It's like, why, though? Like, what does that add to the MCU?
You're not, yeah, exactly. You're not progressing anything.
Yeah, why? It's cool.
Now-
It's just cool to see.
Yeah, it's fun to watch, maybe, but it's nothing that develops a storyline. And, like, Norse mythology is very funny when it comes to Loki
Yeah.
because he's kind of all over the place. Like, we were playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla, right? They touch on the whole Fenrir, and, like, Loki admits that Fenrir is his son. And everybody's like, yo, you fucking made this? Like, that's your kid? Yeah, I fucked a giant, and we had a wolf. And you're like, oh, my fucking God. But that's how nuts, like, that storyline, like, in total, that's how nuts it, like, can be.
Right.
So for a story that's written for for kids,
Yeah, no, seeing this version of Loki's weird. And, like, in the comic books, he's very vicious. Like, they did the Loki, they obviously did a way better job, but they did the Loki in the MCU what they did to Mystique in the newer X-Men movies. They turned him into a hero/anti-hero.
okay,
Like, because Mystique is like a genocidal maniac in the comic books. Like, she slaughters people just as, if not more than Magneto does. But in the newer X-Men movies, she's a blue Katniss. So,
look,
who cares?
what was it, Jennifer Lawrence?
Yeah, Jennifer. Yeah.
Just
I hate her.
so God made 5 perfect women. But the one woman that is on my list to send directly to fucking hell is Brie Larson. Because I swear to God, if she shows up in fucking Star Wars, I'm going to lose my shit. Because, like, I sent you that link that she's supposed to be a character more powerful.
We got this covered as not a reliable source.
Yeah, it seems more like bait.
It's bait. It's clickbait.
But if I do ever see that day come where Brie Larson is a character more powerful than Vader,
Yeah, I don't know about. See, here's the thing with.
I will shit an entire.
I'll say-
not a whole chicken. An entire fucking cow will come out of my anus because fuck Brie Larson. I hate her acting.
So
that shit sucks.
I'll say this because we're creeping up on 10:30, and that was our hard cutoff time. And so I'm gonna say this, and we'll close it out, and we'll definitely leave this for a second episode. My opinion on Brie Larson is that I don't agree with all of her views. But I respect the fact that she's outspoken about it. And on the other hand, have you seen Room?
Joey told me to watch it.
Okay,
I'm
seriously, watch it. Like, it'll change your opinion on her. Because, like, Room, so for people who haven't watched Room, it is based on a book. I don't know if the book is true or not. I think it's a fiction novel. But basically, Brie Larson plays a single mom who is sexually assaulted, and she and her son, she and her son are locked into a room. And that's like 75% of the movie is them being held hostage in a room. And it's about how and if they can break out, what happens afterwards. And like, it's mind-boggling how good she is in that movie and how stone-faced she is in Captain Marvel. Like, it's honestly mind-boggling to me. And I'll let you say your piece and we'll close out. But yeah, she brings a lot of depth to the character, and it's a movie that I wouldn't mind watching. I can't watch it like one weekend and a month later, and I need some time because it's a very heavy and dark movie. But it is well worth your time. Like, and if it's still on Netflix, I wouldn't even mind renting and like paying for it. Like, if you want to throw like $3 at it on YouTube or on Amazon Prime, definitely watch it. It's good.
So, Brie Larson with Captain America.
Marvel.
Like, in Marvel, yeah. She was very fucking detached as a character. She just seemed like she was there to recite lines. I didn't feel like, oh, this is Captain Marvel. I was just like, oh yeah, Brie Larson's doing shit. So a show that I love very much is The League. Now, there's an episode where Brie Larson is about to get tag teamed by one of the characters, Peter, and then a guy, Rafi. It's a great show. Now, in that scene was the only time prior that I had seen Brie Larson actually like dive into a character. And what upset me was I was like, the only time you're about to take two dicks, you look like you're fucking excited and ready to go. But you are Captain Marvel and you're just fucking stone-faced. Like, what in the hell is going on?
Thank you for bringing that point around to something positive.
Like, dude, it upset me because, like, one, Brie Larson, yeah, she's fucking hot. Cool, fine, whatever. But if I'm going to watch a movie, you cannot be so attractive, except for Natalie Portman. You cannot be so attractive that I don't care about your fucking movie. And that was Captain Marvel. She was so bad, just as far as, like, overall acting. Have you ever seen Kong Skull Island?
Yeah, no, and Kong. I love Kong Skull Island up until halfway through when it just comes to a screeching halt.
But like, you look at Brie Larson's character, and the whole time she's just standing in the back like this confused fucking.
Yeah, like, she was fine. Wasn't amazing. Like, she was just there. But yeah, so I'm serious, man. Like, watch Room. Like, it's good. Like, it's really, really good. Like, it's well worth your time. I know we didn't cover everything we wanted to talk about tonight.
Oh no, we had conspiracy theories.
Yeah, we had like conspiracy theories. I had more on Justice League I wanted to talk about. Like, we had a lot. So
like in 2 weeks.
In a couple weeks, we'll do this again. David, thank you as always for being on the PC.
Thank you for getting me to spend like $1,500 because I'm gonna buy that fucking statue.
And thank you again for being here, Springer, with the I like the glasses.
Don't worry. Next week, the podcast is going to be mine because he's going to be off. I'm going to get him demonetized, and his sponsor is going to back out because we're going to talk about dumb shit.
Thank you for being here, as always. Thank you guys for listening and watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Thanks, man.
Solid, buddy.
Peace. Boom!